I was gonna wait to start recording this part of stream until after I had like introduced my topic and started getting into it, but I realized that like I should probably just start recording now because we're already chatting and I'm gonna be drinking this water for a while. And we're talking about otherkins and shit, which is cool because I love otherkins. Still a bit mad annoyed about what the Rust project did to the PhD. Can you unpack that, Sonny? I don't know what the PhD is, and is Rust project a game? I know there's a game called Rust, but you might not be talking about that. So I just wanted some clarification. Damn, you filed taxes as a little? Oh yeah, I definitely filed taxes as a little. There's like a little checkmark parts. It's like single, married, little. An otherkin lawyer? They weren't a lawyer specifically for otherkin. It's just their job. They were a non-binary otherkin lawyer. Met them really early in our transition. If it is safe for you to do so, if you want to get more in touch with your communities, not just the trans community, because I know not everyone here is strictly trans or is out, try to find like a local support group or like discussion group in your area, especially if there's like an LGBT center, because like meeting other queer people in real life, especially other queer people in spaces that don't automatically have drugs and alcohol, is really beneficial. Not to say that it's not cool to hang out with queer people with drugs and alcohol. I do it. I'm the drugs and alcohol. No, I mean, if you say that as otherkin, this is their response. Oh. The programming language. The PhD is a developer who is going to contribute to the language / have received a grant for it. Oh, wow. That sounds sucky. I'm assuming it was going to be like open source and now it's not. I don't know why I closed this water. I got drowned in so many hydrates. I have to finish this bottle before I get serious, I guess. Sure won't be writing Rust for a while. I feel like a lot of like open source stuff is getting like paywalled. There's a specific plugin that we use that got paywalled and we had to acquire it. And it's just super weird and it feels odd because we have to use like a really old version of OBS, so we sometimes have OBS problems that they have solved already because we can't upgrade our versions if we still want to use this this particular plugin that we use. The plugin we use for the lighting actually, which is actually a part of a much bigger plugin. Sometimes I go to GitHub and stuff is just taken down and it's just like, hey, pay me. And it's their right. In terms of that situation with Rust, that sounds a lot shadier. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna help the community with this money. Pockets it. Yeah, I mean, it's a reaction to capitalism. I mean, like, you know, people's wallets are getting tighter, price of living is going up. All my favorite, like outside of tech stuff for a second, I guess. All of my favorite people I want to commission, and like in the furry community or in the baby fur community especially, have raised their prices. And I already felt it, like I could barely afford a lot of it on my current budget. And I keep looking around me and looking at like the price of food and the price of this and the price of that. And I totally understand someone being like, damn, I need another fucking revenue stream. Like, to a degree, I'm like, I'm not even mad. Especially on like a small individual, like indie-ish level. But at the same time, like, being parts of communities and like doing well for one another is like really good. I don't know. I'm kind of a communist about it. They rejected the grant after racism. Sorry, I was looking at it just like completely differently. Wow. That's gross. I hate that. Wow. Fucking shit. I'll share my safe place later. You can share it now. I need to back up on chat because I missed a few things. Our campus has a furry club, an LGBTQ+, and a QPOC resource center. Oh, that's sick. Yeah, definitely take advantage of that, I would say. And shit, if there's anybody else in college, everyone in college that can hear my voice, try to make connections with people. Try to, like, you know, make friends and meet other like-minded people, especially because, like, you're not gonna get another space physically to commingle with people your age who might be at the same stage of like exploring themselves as you, not strictly tied to one socioeconomic background, even if it is like overly like upper middle class, rich, and white. It can still be an amazing boon to like make connections. Maybe they won't all last, but they could serve you later in life in all sorts of ways. When I was growing up, like there was a glorification and romanticization of like tech giants who dropped out of college, and that was being used as a standard of, well, you don't need to go to college to be successful. You know, not really being critical of like startup money and coming from like a background that can take the financial burden of something like that, or just being on the ground floor of something that like the culture or like the industry just isn't the same for, that you can't replicate anymore because it was like fucking like in like 20-30 years ago, and it's just everything is too saturated to break through so easily now. And I feel like during that time there was a lot of focus on making business connections and just being really like taking college as like a like the last tutorial level. And I mean, in a way it kind of is. But I think that like capitalist lean of how can I maximize the connections I make more money in the future is something that I wish that I focused less on, because the like community and culture and the people I learned from and how I learned about trans people existing all happened in college. And I grew after college, of course, but like college is a great place to like experiment and learn about yourself and learn about others and learn about the world before the world and its 8 baseball bats start beating your ass, I guess. I hate to say it like that, but like we can just link the announcement article. Okay. Making friends in college is hard though. We're always messing up the social link. It can be a challenge, especially when you don't have a high charisma stat. But also that's why I encourage, especially like support groups and like discussion groups, a place where you can be in a space where there's like a structure and there's an expectation of like introductions or hellos, and there's like a baseline amount of interaction that is like expected in certain ways, but beyond that, you can be a fly on the wall and just kind of like absorb it and get comfortable at your own pace. We used to be a moderator for like an in-person trans discussion group, and it really served us well. It really served us well, and I mean that's why I encourage that as well outside of even college, because a lot of like queer community centers might have that, and I mean shit, even like Kink Munches can be like that, and be a place where you can just touch base with a group of people that have somewhat similar experiences, but you know, can run the gambit in a lot of ways. And you know, brushing up on your people skills in a space that's not just strictly business professional is very, very useful for your socialization. How do we build charisma? Talk to people. I worked as a service worker for a number of years. And before that, I worked. Oh God! Before being a telemarketer, I had an internship in high school and college as like a telemarketer. Well, not exactly a telemarketer. On behalf of a hospital, I was calling people who had been patients in the past and asked them how their care was and did a survey, which is basically telemarketing. Telehealth surveying. And we've had a lot of jobs where it's like important to talk to people and stuff like that. And that can be a useful skill. So I certainly encourage things like that. Joining a club where you can talk to people, like socially in like a sort of constructed but not like too constructed environment. That's useful. Trying to strike up a conversation with a cashier in public. Them's the basics. Of how we learned after trauma. We certainly raised our charisma. We had to raise our charisma when we were younger because our charisma was so bad that it was affecting like our relationships and the people around us because of the the autism. And like we were just taking passive psychic damage from our family constantly. So we had to raise our charisma stats so that would happen less. And our HP, so that even with the constant debuff, we would still have enough HP to make it through the day and do the normal world shit. I'm still drinking my water. There was an update in like August or September to Rust. It's a pain to find and not really officially acknowledged anywhere, but anyway. It's not even officially acknowledged anywhere, that makes it even worse. I hate racism. Gosh, I'm sitting here giving advice. As it never was my inherent goal directly as a streamer, but like as a YouTuber, we thought that like our perspective will always be somewhat useful for others sometimes because we've been through a lot. And we usually think about the more high octane, the more stressful, or the more like story worthy stuff. But honestly, just living a life and navigating the world as so many different things and learning more about yourself teaches you a lot about stuff. So even the more mundane things in your life you can gain wisdom from. It's something I'm realizing in this moment. Shit, maybe I won't remember this tomorrow. Good thing I'm streaming it. We try not to think about rest. Getting worked up about it kind of sucks. That's a mood. I totally understand that. And no need to be sorry. There's a lot of things to try to pay attention to, and we all have the little things that are kind of fucked up that are just like, I guess that's just how it is. And I definitely think not dwelling on the bad stuff for too long is a good idea. It's hard to know what to keep balance. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm glad I'm drinking this water slow. So Zeta slow. For your bonus, no, can barely at all identify with online trans culture, especially not mainstream trans culture. Just being trans isn't enough to make that connection. I completely understand where you're coming from. Though I am curious on like mainstream, what you mean when you say mainstream trans culture. Because there's a skeet I want to talk about. Oh, for reference, you know how on X there's tweets. On Blue Sky, apparently it was started by a trans person. Just apropos of this conversation, was just like, I'm skeeting, like as a joke. And someone got mad and they were just like, you know what, for getting mad and puritanical about me making a sex joke, you know what, posts on Blue Sky are just called skeets now, deal with it. So the skeet I'm gonna show a little bit later is like outlining a particular what someone particularly sees about like trans online culture, and especially I guess like stuff that's really memeable and memed, and like probably if you were to just look at a random fucking trans mood board you might see, or like those posts that's just like oh, Amazon is suggesting me a number of things that is reflective of my identity. Trans girl polycules and fucking programmer socks and other sorts of things. And I guess I don't know if I would call that mainstream trans culture, because like when I'm thinking of like, if I was to think the most mainstream trans culture I could think of, I would probably think of like what was it, like Laura Mulvaney, fucking like Orange is the New Black. I would think ContraPoints, I guess. I mean, ContraPoints is definitely a known trans people to like cis people, I would say. I'm saying Caitlyn Jenner less and less, and I almost don't even care. Like, at that point, Laverne Cox from Orange is the New Black. That's what I was thinking. Because I think that was one of the first trans women I ever was like, oh shit, that's a trans woman. Oh shit, oh shit. Damn. I feel funny. And because there is certainly like a sort of trans narrative that cis people expect, and I suppose there's a trans narrative that's perpetuated within the community and like I guess the popular trans community, I suppose you could say. It's interesting how we choose to delineate it. I put mainstream in scare quotes because even the most prevalent of trans cultures will still remain a subculture, not mainstream. That's also true because we're like, you know, a minority within a minority. It's really hard to remember sometimes that like trans people are such a low percentage of the population, considering when you're in trans spaces a lot, even if it's just online ones, it can feel like everyone you know is trans, except for the people you have to deal with at work or randomly in public. Sorry, a little bit of my spite was showing. Well, online trans femme culture, catgirls, etc. Mew. Yes, yes. Okay, hit the nail on the head. Apparently, the new trans femme thing to be is actually a puppy girl now. Being a cat girl is so 2019. We tried to participate in a little bit in online trans culture, but we couldn't say we particularly identify with it, we guess. there are certain things that really ping me that I just go, oh shit. And then there are other things I'm like, no? No. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm actually stupid. Programmer sucks. I don't think if I tried my hardest, maybe. But I'm stupid. If I get the socks, I feel like I'm just doing it for the lulz, or just, you know, having nice, warm, cute socks. Cause sometimes that's literally just a thing. You can just have nice, cute, warm socks. We do not have a blotch. We do not have programmer socks. We're not exactly a cat girl with the plural thing and whatnot. Oh yeah, being plural kind of fucks up a lot of stereotypes. Being plural fucks up so many stereotypes. Because it'll just be like, oh, I'm like this as an ets person, and then it's just like, it just hit me of Elon Musk changing Twitter's name to ets, and just how innocuous it feels in one way, almost like super duper normie, and like, oh my god, you have no imagination, and now I'm just like, I was almost taking the name seriously, and then it crept into the back of my head like an earworm, or the fact that I lost the game right now, and I'm just like, I just hate that now. I didn't even hate it. I was just kind of, I didn't really care, but now I care, and I'm a little bit annoyed. Then now I have to think of that website when I'm just thinking of fucking algebra. Gosh, you're not more popular than algebra. Sorry. Damn, that's the most nerdy thing I've said this year. Fuck. I don't even like algebra like that. Algebra is okay, I guess. Right, I told myself I was gonna finish drinking this water before I talk about the trans girl culture stuff. I wouldn't exactly call it a culture war. It's more like a thing that a lot of people perpetuate, especially in memes and stuff, but honestly, beyond memes, I see people posting, like, legitimately, like, with their blush and with their programming socks, and they feeling themselves, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think for folks that are especially more normie shaded, it can be really hard. And I think that I came into like trans identity at just the right time culturally. I think in and out of the community, and like where I stopped like feeling in my perspective reflected a cis person, or like a cis normative referential for myself and the others around me, and like that weird liminal space where you're still kind of holding on to like some of the things that you've learned, and like it's kind of affecting how you're presenting and how you think about yourself, not realizing or maybe not wanting to engage with being trans in a way that deviates from what you expect from the gender, if you have a normative gender. The weird thing about coming out as trans, our experience, or my experience, I came out as trans, right? But I was closeted except to a few close friends about being non-binary, because at the time that I came out, people were still arguing, or I guess people still sort of argue this, but not really. There were people that were asserting even that non-binary people aren't trans somehow, or it was a question of like, are non-binary people trans? And within that, especially cis people, because I care way more about what cis people thought on like a general level than I do now, and it was just like, I don't think cis people I know are ready to accept that non-binary exists, and that because of the society we live in, and the way that my gender is constructed and adapting and experimental and learning and too big for two fucking boxes, that it would be a challenge to be like, hey, I'm non-binary and I'm gonna use the women's restroom. Like, I could not look a cis person with power over me in the eyes and say that statement, because there was too much on the line. There was too much on the line. And I certainly don't only use like gender neutral restrooms, but I mean nowadays I barely use restrooms that aren't my pants in general outside of my house, and that's just from wanting to avoid any possible confrontation. That's a general trans thing. Before it was just, okay, if I'm a perfect little trans woman, then I'll get the least amount of transphobia as someone who doesn't really pass. So that was a thing. And so like I had this internal sense of like, okay, how did I put it? I had an internal sense of like being critical of like the things that I was expected to fall into now in a woman role, while still having to act like, and maybe not exactly only acting, I shouldn't say only acting, kind of leaning into the things that I thought were expected of me, and like trying for dear life to hold on to a life raft of like the normativeness that I thought would save me from transphobia somehow. And honestly, it did not. It did not at all. And so to give you a clue of some of the stuff I'm gonna be talking about in a minute once I finish this water, is like model minority stuff, passing culture, some amount of cis people, but the skeet that I'm gonna show that I kind of am using as a jumping off point for the bonus topic of the day is literally about like the trans femme culture that is seen as cringe, especially. Literally, there's a ContraPoints video about it, and it actually reminds me that yeah, ContraPoints is not my fucking role model. At least not anymore, because goddamn. Sometimes I feel so othered watching a fucking ContraPoints video, and gosh, you know that I'm inebriated because I'm about to actually talk negative about ContraPoints, because I usually still man ContraPoints as much as I fucking can, because it wasn't super early in my transition I fell into ContraPoints, but I did feel seen, especially with ContraPoints older stuff that is not visible on her YouTube channel anymore because it causes her dysphoria. And actually a lot of trans YouTubers who have like publicly transitioned have unlisted or privated some of their older videos before their transition. Or even something that sometimes fills me with a little bit of negative emotion of some sort. Sometimes it's not even people that were like not transitioning, or at least not openly trans at the time. There are some people who were non-binary when they came into their YouTube career. ContraPoints was actually genderqueer, for example, and then later realized, oh wait, no, I'm just binary, or I'm binary enough to just say trans woman and not non-binary primarily anymore. And I always felt weird about that because of like these public examples, and I don't think that like someone's life or journey is like bad, and I don't think that a public figure needs to stay within the realm of like what is the best representation. They're not a fucking character, or at least not always. But like at the same time, I was strongly aware of the fact that there were gonna be a lot of people who went, oh, non-binary is just something that people identify as they start to sink into their actual binary gender when they're uncomfortable. And honestly, even entertaining that line of reasoning is is centering cis normative like conclusions. And I don't want to automatically think like that anymore. I want to be aware, but I certainly don't want that to be my like motivating or like first thought. And I was having a conversation with some other queers in a friend's Discord about this thingy, and I was just like really about to like kind of feel bad about it in a lot of ways, but I'm actually gonna turn this conversation hopefully into something a lot more positive. And it is a cognito hazard. It's such a cognito hazard. A safe space for us is a place where we can recover at our own pace and receive protection and resources to harmful things outside it. Also allies that can help out when we're at the worst part of our life. Bonus, we identify with some online trans culture. Oh, cool. Seems like the first one you had a lot. You had to think about a lot more. Oh yeah, I also want to make a bingo sheet for non-binary culture stuff, because it's like sometimes I feel a little bit stifled by the trans femme label because I fall within it, but like it feels like limiting. And I think I'm realizing also that's probably why I squirm a little bit if someone assumes that I'm a lesbian. Not because I have any problem with lesbianism, and I'm certainly have some sapphic all over this shit, but like I feel like it narrows the focus in a way that does not fully reflect me. And so especially with like how I want to present and how I want to exude myself, sometimes I literally identify with the term vaguely femme-shaped thing than trans femme. Because again, thinking about like how like a normie is gonna think about it, they're just gonna go, you mean trans woman, but you're leaving a little bit of space for non-binary femmes, and that's nice, but you're really just saying trans woman is what I assume a lot of people think in their heads, like in a little shorthand. Gosh, I'm saying some things from out my subconscious right now. I gotta be careful, cause fucking Christ. I don't think that any of this is bad to say, but I'm certainly when I have more faculties up, I'm certainly a little bit more guarded about my language. A little bit from the oh no cancel culture, but also from the thing where it's just like I hate to be too hard on a thing sometimes. Always try to be cautious, and I definitely have internalized some model minorityness, especially with the sorts of minorities that we are. It was funny, we definitely got squirmy about, but kind of took it as a compliment when someone told us that we were like a well-articulated and understanding queer or black person or furry or baby fur or whatever. And it's just like, ah yes, I'm not a super cringe one that makes you uncomfortable because they make you feel so utterly normal. Oh, I lost my thought. I was gonna say, watching a ContraPoints video, sometimes I don't like to focus on the thought, but I've recently felt really almost talked down to when addressing trans people in a way. It's like we agree on things like in some broad strokes way, but as soon as you get any more granular, it goes, oh no. And I think that there's a lot of trans culture that's reflected in what ContraPoints talks about, even though her audience is mainly cis people. And I think especially with like Tabby, the fucking cat girl anarchist character, I always feel like a little bit because it's just like I think that is a part of like stuff that she believes and wants to reflect, but like it always seems like a butt of a joke. Like I don't know, like that's why I like when people like really claim and really like sink their teeth into their weirdness, like Forlung or something, where it's just like I'm not gonna be your perfect queer. Fuck it. I'm gonna be me and what's healthy and good for me, which is really hard as a public figure, honestly. I really gotta learn because I just have been afraid because I've seen how people get dogpiled and stuff like that. I also saw a post today that was talking about how sarcastically, oh, we should make a list of all the popular trans films and order it from good to evil. Because trans films get demonized so much. And I'm just like, damn, that's good enough satire for The Onion. Because people definitely like dogpiling trans films. And like any criticism the trans films get, it just says, it's like, okay, how do I pick out actual relevant criticism and not just, I don't know, just look at a bunch of like trans or queer phobia of some sort. Fuck. Have a good night, Sonny. It was nice seeing it. I did start stream super duper late, so I certainly wouldn't fault anyone for falling asleep. Damn, is this just the Q fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia music? Drizzle rants about trans discourse stream. Fuck. Yeah, I guess that's what this is now. Hopped you up on that truth serum. It do be like that sometimes. And I've also had like a really nice loose day. I also want to talk about my day. I don't know, should I disengage from the ranting and talk about my day? I'm gonna disengage from the ranting and talk about my day, especially because it also has to do with the everything. A blanker? A good blanker? Do you mean like a, or are you misspelling like blanket, or I don't understand? I'm definitely going to be I don't know about truth serum-y, because obviously I'm gonna like come down and sober up and whatever, but like I wanna push my boundaries a little bit. I play it safe a lot. I play it safe a whole lot in a lot of ways. Blanker is censored. Ah, I see. This is gonna be a really soggy stream. Oh gosh. I love how it's like listens as I pee. Is it really an accident if it's in the non-binary bathroom? I don't think it's an accident if it's in the. Okay, maybe it's a little bit of an accident. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny one for reasons. So I'm about to talk about a bunch of good things. I'm about to talk about a bunch of positive things. I know the world is shitty in a lot of ways, and I am about to go on a rant about queer culture, and how awesome it is to be cringe, because kill the part of you that cringes, not the cringy part. But okay, I'm gonna start from like the most cringy. I totally want to do like a diaper review. I want to start doing diaper reviews, and I'm like, I have such diaper review brain rot because I've tried so many different diapers, and it's just like, I am incontinent, and like I have an opinion, and that is one of those things where I'm just like, if I do that, then I am officially cringe. Like, it is weird to try to be a model baby fur. I don't know how I have tried to keep some sort of standard up for this long, but I am not a model baby fur, and I just I'm gonna turn around on that because I was about to rant into a whole different direction. I've been I've been using my diapers a lot, and like strategically thinking about like my wearing and usage, and like thinking a lot more about budgeting and like money per diaper, and like it is certainly as much a health thing as it is like a fun kink thing, or like a part of my identity, um or what have you. And like it's very much intertwined with like my life and my finances and stuff. And the try again diapers are like really good, and there's been like 3 or 4 diapers over the past like 2 years that came out that I keep going, damn, this is my new favorite diaper. And then it happens again, and now I'm here again, and I was like, is the next new diaper that comes out gonna be my favorite diaper? Because like I don't know if I could top try agains. um Not sponsored. Pretend Again should totally sponsor me though. um Gosh, I'm about to enter my cringe era. Fuck. Okay, so continuing. I wasn't sure, considering it costs like $15 more than than we usually budget for 40 diapers, which is certainly not enough a month, and we certainly need to start going cheaper, at least to build up like a cheaper like collection to like sell ourselves out. But anything we buy that's not ADBL diapers are literally gonna be lower quality, and even good medical diapers pale in comparison to bad diapers. It is just the way of the world. It is enthusiasts. Honestly, wearing ADBL diapers is basically a hobby, in the sense of like the community and the subculture that is around it. If you look for it, like legitimately, like people can literally be hobbyists about this thing, just like people are hobbyists about model Gunpla. It's wild. I could definitely do a diaper tier list. Um One thing, and that leads me to talk about being incontinent in like a general sense, because there is a stark difference in my life since I accepted I was incontinent, and I have like not tried to be a perfect incontinent person, i.e., not incontinent, or just incontinent on the weekends. And I think ADBL culture definitely like ingrained in me a few bit of unhealthy practices and stuff, which I'm still trying to unlearn, while still enjoying the nice parts about wearing for reasons aside from strict medical usage. And part of I would say the incontinence struggle that a lot of people don't think about is actually um, being able to wear under different like circumstances or occasions of like what's expected for you to dress like, or what you want to dress like. Since I have become incontinent, since I've become incontinent, that's not a true statement. Since I have accepted my incontinentness, and since I have been wearing full time, or as full time as I can afford, I have had to be very careful with how I dress. When I think about like how I'm gonna dress, before I think about if I am going to increase my likelihood of passing as a trans person, or shit, even if I'm necessarily going to be fully comfortable in a sense other than having to do with my incontinence, the first thing I think about is how many times can I wet before it is obvious that I am wearing, and before I leak. How easy is it for someone to uh or I should say, how easy is it going to be for what does it call it, a wardrobe malfunction? I care way more about wardrobe malfunctions in general. And then the third thing is, how can I accommodate the way I want to dress with the way I quote unquote need to dress? Because unless I'm going to an event, and even then I might change when I get there, that is like within the community, I have to like think about decency, but not in a puritanical way, like, oh, like if someone can tell that I'm wearing, then like than it is immoral or whatever. More just like what I want the world to see, because even this will probably even come as a surprise to my partner. I do not dress in a way that I overtly want to construe to the world at the top of my lungs that I wear diapers. I I know it's hard to believe that I do have an ounce of shame, but the cool thing about it is, if you keep a little bit of shame, you get to really cultivate that embarrassment, because a little shame can go a long way, but you have to be shamed responsibly. And so how did that lead into my day? A lot of times I struggle with dressing in a way that will hide my diapers, and dressing in a way, especially when I'm feeling pretty femme, like how I want to present wise. How do I satisfy both of these things? Because my favorite dress is short as fuck. My shortest dress is so short that you could check if I need a change in one swift motion, which is good for like a few, literally one person right now in my physical life. But other than that, it is probably not good for being out in public. So I generally don't wear it unless I have leggings, and my leggings are kind of ripped. So usually never. And today I wore pants, which is saying something. Not because I hate pants, because I went through my hate pants phase. I went through that. It's not a phase for everyone, but apparently I like pants again somehow. But I don't know if this is a trans femme or like a presenting femme thing that other people will identify with, but even without the diaper dichotomy, the diaper dichotomy, even without the diaper dichotomy, I still have to wrestle with how femme do I want to read? How aggressively do I want to say if I get misgendered, or if someone expects me to go into a certain bathroom? How irritated should I be because, quote unquote, it should be obvious? Which is something I'm quoting from both sides of the spectrum of, like, oh, I shouldn't, it's like technically in the world you want, men should be able to wear dresses, so I shouldn't have to automatically assume that every person who's wearing a dress is a woman. And then also, I am trying so hard right now, can you just give me a fucking break? And not everyone has to try hard, not everyone has to do their absolute best to pass, but passing can be a safety thing and whatnot. And like, we know that like technically we don't pass, we don't pass in a sort of privileged way. I feel like we don't pass in a way that this is the best way to not pass, which is a weird fucking thing to say. We don't pass in the you would look so much better as a twink sort of way. And so there is an amount that I feel I can get away with, but a lot of time I'm just like, okay, if I want to have a good day and I'm going out, I should wear a dress, right? And that's not always true. And today proved it, because I did not get misgendered today, and I wore pants, which is a big deal to me, which is a huge deal to me. And that's not even what I was gonna talk about with my day, but I needed to start off on the right foot, you know? I won't wear it full time since I want to be able to get help with my incontinence, and it sucks because right now I have to wait, and I don't really pass, and I'm okay right now, and it's hard to really worry about my parents and them worrying about me wearing. Being a minority always means assessing everyone's expectations of you. I hate that, and hope that this part of your life passes and you have to always worry about their expectations. I'm so happy that I don't have to worry about the expectations of my fucking parents or my family. I don't have to worry about the fact that I'm like, I love having hefty, squishy diapers. And I don't have to worry about my mom overhearing in the other room. I know I feel shame about like my parents thinking about me wearing. That's a movie, but I mean that's also like the comfort and the medical component. I think is also like a buffer for me at least in situations where like it's gonna be known or it's kind of hard to hide, and it's just like actually when I first got into diapers that was a thing because I lived in such close quarters with people that because I was experimenting, there was no way that they weren't gonna see it, like the bots of like Depends or fucking Good Nights or whatever. Like there was no way I could avoid them knowing that I wore diapers in some capacity. So I was just straight up. I was just straight up. And they made me feel bad about a lot of things. Not necessarily that. They were actually a lot more chill than I expected. Those roommates were abusive about something completely different, actually. Ironically. I digress. Let me catch up on chat. You dress cute and kidcore, which makes us want your style. Thank you. Kidcore is my shit. And that's actually how I dressed today. I should have took a picture. I know it's weird because we don't take pictures of our face, but taking pictures of our fit, I might start doing. But it's a fit that I can recreate. The weird thing about like how I dress though is that because I've gotten so used to it, it doesn't seem exotic to me, but it's certainly exotic to other people. And it can be weird sometimes. Cause when I was a boy, it was like me starting to get into like purposely dressing in a way leaning towards how I dress now. But it was like I was under a lot more scrutiny by the people around me in my personal life for it. Especially color wise, let alone the choice of the actual clothes. Today I wore a bright blue t-shirt, fairly tight, like I guess almost form-fitting, with a wire bra, not push-up. The t-shirt had notes of like pastel greens and blues, and is one of my favorite shirts actually. It's a Splatoon shirt. It's a Splatoon shirt that I got from like one of those websites that literally sells like a different t-shirt design every day. I think it was called Yeti. When we first started streaming, our like splurge purchase every month was literally like a t-shirt from them. We have a lot of t-shirts from them, but a lot of them are like bed shirts. But this shirt in particular is like a really nice fit, and I sometimes forget that because sometimes we think that dressing femme or like trying to quote unquote pass is all about like trying to have as many femme signifiers as humanly possible, and sometimes it's just not that deep. And it reminded me, and how I dressed today and how things turned out reminded me that it's also about your amount of comfortability. And not, and I mean, people will definitely read how you dress a certain way. Like I certainly think if I went in baggy blue jeans and my fucking black baggy hoodie, I definitely would not have had the same experience. I wore pants. I'm pretty sure I wore pants. No, I didn't wear pants. Sorry, I didn't wear pants, but I didn't wear my overalls. I wore a pants-like thing. We got recently like pretty much one of our most commonly worn pieces of clothing since the summer. They're like some like baggy-ish shorts, some baggy-ish like denim like gray shorts, and they're really nice, and it's really funny to think about the fact that because we wear whenever we go outside, unless we're like taking out the trash or something we'll be back in quickly for, we literally have to, like, if we're going out clothes shopping, we have to think about not just what our waist or our butt size is for like bottoms. We have to think about how much extra space we need to fit our fucking diapers in it, and beyond that, how much extra space we need when it swells. And that's a big thing. Like, wearing tight clothes can be really not fun. And sometimes it's not even about, oh shit, someone could tell I'm wearing. Sometimes I just don't like the shape of my body because of how much extra butt I can have with diapers. So it's always something to keep in mind. So having shorts that we felt like we could wear and it doesn't immediately give it away and they still feel kind of stylish was nice. And I wore leggings underneath those. And I remember telling Snack today that it was like a vibe that I remember seeing that was like cracking my egg when I was in college. And I saw girls in like short shorts and leggings. It's something like Ramona Flowers wears actually. It's part of her like one of her most common fits with her little like crop top jacket and like a t-shirt underneath or a dress. And I was just like, damn, I really like that look. Too bad I can't wear it because I'm a boy. And it's like, fuck that noise, right? But like, it was an interesting fit because sometimes, especially as a non-binary person, I want to be a little bit confusing. I want to be a little bit androgynous. I don't want to be like really strongly one way or the other. And it was interesting, and it was people watching on the bus, and I was noticing like how the people that like seemed to be femme around me were just kind of like existing, and I was thinking about like, and I saw someone, and I immediately thought, I have no way of knowing this, but I would probably be right in assuming that this person is not constantly thinking about if they look femme enough to get she heard. Because she heard is as good as I'm gonna get from strangers in public. I'm not gonna expect it or Faye Fair. Honestly, if I'm hearing it's from a random stranger I haven't told them to, I gotta be more paying attention, honestly, because that might actually mean something negative. And I think that that's kind of like put my defenses down a little bit, and I was just like, let me just be like comfortable and just like do me instead of worrying so much about what other people think. Which I know sounds like the most basic bitch ass advice, but especially when you have anxiety, it can be really hard not to like think along the lines of like how you look and be outside your body constantly. So it was kind of nice to just go, oh, be more chill. And I was. So me and Snack went out on a date today. It was nice. We had lunch at like this Korean place. We had some nice noodles. It was really good. And I think actually the way that the food I had tasted kind of reflects kind of what I felt like I kind of learned emotionally today, because I made some more taki chicken like almost a week ago now, and I made so much of it that I've been eating it nonstop. I've been eating it for almost every meal until today, and it's like really flavorful and like really strong, and I really like stimulating flavors. I really like overpowering things, not just like hot and spicy things, though those too, but like stuff especially taste wise or even music wise that like overloads me, that just fills me with the prickles. I love that shit. And like by comparison, the ramen I had was bland, and I had to communicate, this isn't bad, but based on what I've been eating and what I'm expecting, like this definitely isn't as engaging as I wanted it to be. And so I was just like thinking about it, and just like thinking about like the internet and like the constant like drip feed of content everywhere, and the assumption that you're multitasking, or just the expectation that you're multitasking. Oh, I'm watching a YouTube video, might as well play a game while I'm doing that, you know? And we've been thinking about that a lot too. The concept of just like slowing down a little bit, and I think that that's also been fucking us up with like our content and stuff, because it's really hard not to do two things at once sometimes, and a lot of our work we cannot do two things at once, and that fucks us up, and slowing down feels painful sometimes, and not getting all the stimulation we want feels painful sometimes, and it was just nice to breathe and just chill out. And we ate at this place, and it was good and nice. And it just felt good, right? And thinking about slowing down and thinking about like just like enjoying our day, especially because I knew by going out today that we would not finish the stuff that we needed to do to prepare for Punk Bite, and Dust regular stream. So there was no way we could do what we normally would be scheduled to do. So I knew that we weren't gonna play Armored Core and Sea of Stars and finish those off. So from that moment, we were just like, well, usually for like the past 2 months, it feels like we've been like scrambling to finish everything that we needed to for stream to be ready on Saturday. Like all the time before Saturday that we're awake, we're stressed about making sure stream is gonna go well and we have everything we need. Today I didn't care about that, and it was nice. And Snack was like, "Oh, I want to take you to a place you said you wanted to go a while back, but I want it to be a surprise." And I was like, "Okay." And there were so many places I thought it was gonna be. It was a wine and spirit store. It was so funny because I was just like, wow, that's a really mundane place to take me. But I literally did say I wanted to go to one. And I forgot that I even did. And it was just such a weird moment. I was like, damn, I wanted something incredibly mundane. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't need to be like a fucking sets toy shop or a rock climbing gym or, I don't know, a portal to another world. For it to be cool. And like we looked around at a lot of different alcohols and like think about the different types of drinks we would make, because I've talked about it before. I'm an addict. I definitely count as an alcoholic, and sometimes it's hard to like fully enjoy stuff how I would like to, because like of just the being used to access, being used to having a higher tolerance and needing more to get like a good buzz going, right? And like sometimes, especially when you're like self-medicating, things feel just so like, I have to do it this way. Oh, thank you for the petties. But like, I felt a lot more at ease, and it's certainly interesting when you have a partner that is not an addict. Because the partner I had for the longest and who was very close to me, who I don't talk to anymore, we were both addicts. And we certainly enabled each other. And there is that sense of like how society and like popular addict like understanding of addicts tend to say of like, oh, like don't do it ever again. The only way you can be successful and healthy is being abstinent. And I haven't believed in that in a long time. And today was also a reminder of like, you can like make drinks and like contemplate flavors. We did like some sake tasting in these little bitty like bowls that you literally see people drinking from an anime. We got them like from some dessert from a restaurant once, and we drank a bunch of different types of sake, and it was like really light and nice, and we're just hanging out on the porch for a while. And that's why I say I spent most of my time out today, because we only spent like 3 hours max being out on our date. Though I guess the date technically extended to the drinking, because we were like hanging out and listening to music and playing Monster Hunter Mobile and fucking drinking and talking about like how it tasted and like really focusing on that instead of drinking to get inebriated. And it was a good time. I kind of skipped the gendering part because I've certainly come to expect that I'm not gonna get gendered the way I want. And like there was like an old lady that like was like, "Oh, can you excuse me, ma'am?" And I'm just like, "Oh shit, I just got ma'am by an old person. I got ma'am by a boomer. It's let me move out of your way. You addressed me." And it was just like I definitely had that giggly feeling that I had to suppress. And it's like, you don't know you made my day. And sometimes I feel weak when I'm just like, that sometimes how someone addresses me can change my day irrevocably. But honestly, I think that's true for a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I mean, being respected and being seen how you want to be seen is like kind of part of self-perception. You know? No one's an island. And that was while we were in the liquor store, and we picked up a lot of stuff, and we got like a lot of stuff to make drinks, and we were talking about all these drinks we wanted to make, and I definitely drank more like someone who wasn't an addict today, maybe a bit like an addict, than I have in a very long time. And it's nice to have been doing something like that with someone who isn't like I need this to take the edge off. So it was just kind of it was just kind of funny that I even thought about like drinking on stream today because I'm in a nice place and I don't need to do that. Though part of me wants to. I will acknowledge that. Um, it was just such an It was just such an interesting day, and it was just like not being so caught up in like the streamer rat race and all that sort of stuff. But it was also nice because like I don't know, it was like the world felt kind to me for a little bit. So that was kind of weird, and like I dressed the way I want and I didn't feel alienated, and that was super nice. So when I get home and I see this Skeet talking about like trans femme culture and how like otherizing some people feel from being outside of it, it got me thinking about stuff. Especially in like dressing the way I want it and getting seen the way I want it to be seen, and not like compromising, and that was like super nice. Oh, also I put a bow on my hair, which literally I hadn't done since I got divorced. And I felt complete and whole and just proud to be trans and just be myself, and it was so fucking sick. And I felt like I was healing. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna stop love bombing myself like a dork, and try to focus more on like what I want to talk about. Pants is looped so far on your hate scale. It is going back up to the like side. It be like that sometimes where it's just like, I hate being padded for life, and then, bing. Actually, I don't care anymore. This is great. Thank you, Drizzle. I might try like getting big bots to help more, but like I'd have to try to change more and get used to showering and wiping more during changes. Changes take changing. Your status quo has to be different. Although I'll admit that I certainly am not always the best. I think recently I went like at least 2 weeks when our washing machine was broken that I did not take a shower. And I try to wipe thoroughly when I change, but like I certainly wasn't keeping up my a level of cleanliness that I would want. But especially because of disability and like spoons and stuff, I was like not like too angry at myself about it, and like I took a shower for like 3 days in a row this week. But not today though. And I'm fine. And sometimes you'll have dips. No pun intended. In your quality of life for whatever reason. And that's totally okay too. And thinking back to diapers again, since now I'm diaper brain again. It's been weird wearing and accommodating for like a really absorbent diaper and being like, okay, I am in public and I'm not scared of a mishap. Well, for the most part. Actually, I've been completely lucky. If you're gonna be wearing outside the house, you should bring a spare change and some plastic bags to take that change, especially if you end up having to change in a place where you don't want to dump the diaper, like in a very small trash can in a place you're gonna be for a while. Because sometimes just keeping it in your book bag or your purse or whatever can be critical to discretion if you care about that sort of thing. I have certainly had some times where I just had to put the a wet nappy in the little trash can that's meant for fucking tampons because I had no other choice. I'm sorry. Gosh, when I was wearing at my service job, I had to be really careful. And that's when I was like unofficially doing, well, not exactly 24/7, but I was wearing a lot because I had like a lot more privacy at work that I had in my own home during a time, so that became a thing. But I think I finally got the hang of this incontinent thing. Oh, that's probably why I have the shame too. Um, because like I can't. It almost feels like well, honestly, it almost feels like a disability. Cause I was about to compare it to being an addict. Cause like if someone was like, "Can you just stop being incontinent?" And it's like, I have tried my hardest in my entire life. I have used so many spoons. I am not kidding. This is like, I'm gonna be the most real right now as I can possibly be in this net statement. I have made, I have made so much. I've used up more spoons in my life trying to make sure I didn't piss myself than cultivate healthy and positive relationships in my life. That's how much effort I have to put in. It's kind of like masking. It's masking. Because if you're masking as an autistic person so much that people don't assume that you're autistic or can't tell, then sometimes getting a diagnosis is harder. Getting accommodations is harder. People expect you to be a good autistic person and not do all the weird things that other autistic people do. And it's the same way with incontinence. Gosh, my brain is just, today. In a good way. Because I'm just like, oh, that's why I still am kind of weird about this whole incontinence thing. And being a baby fur in general, because it's like, if someone was just like, Drizzle, I'll pay you $2,000 to cut that shit out. Sorry. Even if it would like drastically change my life right now, I don't think I want to hurt myself. I honestly don't. Sometimes it's just good to like just do what you need to do. And that's what was really hard about like facing certain disabilities, and it's still hard because I'm still struggling with facing my epilepsy. But it's been a very similar process, I've noticed, of like looking at what I can and can't do and going, okay, these are my limits. This is as far as I can push myself. And I'm used to pushing myself a certain degree. Do I need to push myself this hard? I don't know. Maybe I can accommodate it somehow. Maybe I can, I don't know, try to juggle it somehow. And there's certain times where you have to hide a little bit more of yourself than you want to. I certainly am not gonna begrudge someone being closeted or masking to survive, just like some people need desperately to pass to survive. But I think with my incontinence, I've certainly reached a point of acceptance where the fact that my incontinence is stress continence doesn't make me feel like I have to add an addendum all the time when I talk about being incontinent. Because I try to explain to people in case it ever comes up that it's just like, yeah, sometimes I don't wear diapers. That's a bad day, actually. And it's usually because I don't have enough and I want to space things out. Or I need some time for my body to breathe or maybe heal from a rash or something. Or sometimes I just want to feel big. I'm not gonna lie. Desperately, I'm not gonna lie right now, I guess. Sometimes I just want to feel big and feel like I can like not get my seat wet or change my pants or fucking sit on my girlfriend's lap without going, uh-oh. Oh my god, wait, I have to clip that. Gosh, when Sober Me sees this, she is going to, I hope piss her pants in happiness. But yeah, damn, I didn't mean to talk about diapers as much. Yeah, I'm proud of me today, somehow. And finding good clothes is really fucking hard. Finding good clothes is really fucking hard, just in general, especially as you start to transition. You have a bunch of clothes that you don't want to wear anymore. But we've been transitioning for long enough that like we don't have that exact problem, but we've lost a lot of clothes from our moves and stuff, and just losing them because of poverty reasons, or like bad things happening reasons. And it's just like, okay, I have this core set of clothes that'll survive the rapture. What can I do with them? And we do our best. And there's some clothes that's just like, if I wear this with a diaper, it's not gonna work out. So I try my best to not push my limits. But surprisingly, you can get away with an awful lot. And people definitely don't focus on the state of your pants in public as strangers as much as you think. I want to get new outfits and make diapers feel better to wear since, like, I have more to focus on. Dresses. When you can. I definitely, dresses are kind of, well, I don't want to say they're easy mode. Dresses are like, it's like Resident Evil 4. Dresses are dynamic difficulty. Yeah, I've never said that before. I wanted to say it in a video. I've been waiting to say it in a video, but like, we're gonna take a long hiatus when we stop streaming at the end of toward the end of this year. So might as well drop the heavy lore now. Yeah, we're divorced. Been for a while. I mean, relative. Gosh. I tend to be in 3 streams or 3 tasks at all times. I totally understand that. A lot of times I'm doing like 3 things at once. A lot of times. And it really slows our progress, and we really want to do that less. And we're trying. And we're trying to enjoy the moment a lot. Instead of trying to be in too many moments at once and not fully being in all of them. I can't wait to feel pretty effeminate and to be pretty trans, or feel it. It is weird to like be the thing that sometimes I sometimes feel weird about, because I'll see people positive posting about their own transitions, their own relationships, especially in queer in the queer context, and I go, I wish my life was that awesome. And sometimes my life is awesome, and I have to remind myself to like balance out the privilege of I get to have like a not shitty life. But you know, I still have struggles, and it's okay to celebrate them. Just try not to be an asshole about them. Trans joy is good. Thanks, Drizzle. It means a lot getting help from like it feels help a lot getting these kinds of supports from friends on and off stream. I try to make a safe community for struggles. You need a break from small. I need a break from big, honestly. My big feelings have been getting in the way of my small feelings, honestly. Though lately I've been able to be a little bit better. Ever since I started being little sister coded, honestly, my life has just been amazingly better. That and antidepressants, apparently? Maybe. I'm still manning them because I didn't feel as great about them yesterday. And I know they'll take months to really know if they're working. But I'm in a good place right now in terms of that. And things are sometimes hard, but stutter engine. The little that could. Diapers and jeans, lol. Diapers and jeans are a nice combo depending on the combo. Gosh, I'm not a shill, but another company that makes ADBL clothing that also makes diapers, Tykables, I'm a really big fan of, and I wish that they weren't sold out of their pants. They have pants, hear me out, they have jeans with a relaxed fit, so as like the kind of stretchy waistband that pulls up and down real easy just in case it's hard for you, and it has snaps all the way up the legs for easy changes. I want it so bad. You don't understand. I have wanted it almost for the entire time I have been like a practicing baby fur, like it's a career. I guess baby fur is part of my career. I remember wearing in high school. Whoa, Dell, I didn't know you ever wore diapers. I thought you were just like dreaming about it. I know a lot of people who wore them like in like school or high school, like in their experimentation phase. My experimentation phase was at like 22, because I was just not, I felt really weird trying to wear diapers in when I was living with my parents at all, because I was just like, in a very black way, if anyone finds out about me choosing to wear diapers, they will roast me so hard. I will not live it down. Like, I just could not. Which is saying something, because when I was like 11, my brother roasted the shit out of me constantly because I shit myself. And that's the type of trauma that kept me in the trying to pass as continent closet for so long, where it's just like, oh, I had potty failure. I can't be distressed about this without being made fun of. Wow, I think that's the thing that I want to focus more content on, like destigmatizing incontinence now. Wow. Under, Understandable, I know, but like, it didn't hit me of just how important that is to me now. Because I know a lot of people have had struggles like mine and worse, and I still feel an amount of privilege in the fact that I've been able to mask as continent for so long. And I used to think that my incontinence didn't count as real incontinence because I do have a friend who's incontinent, and literally, if she is not padded, she will piss herself. As far as I know, is very hard. And because of the combination of like ADHD, and all the other ways that our brain is weird, there is a thing where it's just like, I could have made it to the toilet, but I was so focused on a thing that the little bit that my body told me, hey, what about toilets? I was like, fuck toilets. I love this anime right now. Fuck toilets. I'm working on this essay right now. Fuck toilets. I'm just having fun right now. And then, oh shit. And it's almost like in the 90s how people were like, if you do one gay thing, then you're gay for life, if you're a boy. In that sense of like, if it occurs once, then it's over. In that same sense, it was just like, if I have one accident, then I suck. And I didn't think along the lines of incontinent. I'm not even sure what words I used, but I remember particularly being like, oh no, no one can find out. And it's really weird because it wasn't bedwetting. So like, there was this very much feeling of mismanaging my time, of mismanaging my body, of not understanding things, of having to learn. You have to understand, being incontinent is basically having an extra tutorial after you finish the tutorial for the rest of your life. Like, honestly, not wetting yourself as an incontinent person is like playing Dark Souls. Maybe you can do it, but it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. I tried so fucking hard, and now I'm just done. Pissing my pants is a radical, disabled self-acceptance. Divorce? I didn't even know you were married. We were still married when we first started content creation, and we were getting divorced. How do I say this? Slowly over time, creeping towards it like actually being legally the thing. But basically, when we came back from streaming, we were essentially divorced. When we came back to streaming after like I think like 2 or 3 months hiatus that we did when we were homeless. So by the time we were a VTuber, we were basically divorced. Yeah, I'm putting everyone on the fucking Tykables pants. You gotta have the snappies all the way down your leg so you can get changes while you're still watching stream. Oh no, capitalism has infected Drizzle. We have to rip it out of her. I promise I'm not a shill. I promise. Unless. I choose diaper over catheter. Yeah. Fun fact, a very common thing for trans people to experience, especially in the world we live in right now, is urinary tract infections, because people have to hold their fucking piss so long because they're scared to go to the bathroom. I don't have that problem, luckily, but I used to hold my pee a lot, and it's really interesting because like controlled abstinence are kind of a thing. I have there's a sweet spot in my like maybe from like 18 to like 22ish that I was at my most continent. And before that I was good at hiding my abstinence, and like making it just barely, or because of being AMAB, having the benefit of a time where under any other circumstance I would have had an accident, but I could run outside and piss and of course take the risk of maybe being arrested for public indecency, but also not pissing myself. Honestly, if I was born AFAB, I would have pissed myself all the fucking time. Honestly. Pissing privilege. I'm not incontinent. I'm just bold. Had a job and got Amazon Abenas. Ball in the warm. Neat. Well, I mean, like, it's not like I didn't know you like diapers, Dell. Like, you post diaper shit in the Discord more than me at this point. It's really funny. Sometimes I think of Dell like a stone butch, even though I don't think Dell is trans or non-binary, or, well, I don't know if you're queer even, technically. I suspect it, but I hadn't asked directly, and you don't have to tell me. But you do fit in here, quite well, Dell. I will say. Yeah, that's how I thought I wasn't incontinent either, until I started leaking literally daily now. Oh gosh. Honestly, one of the funniest things about like my current like lifestyle of wearing is like going to the bathroom to poop, but I'm wearing a diaper. So like I'm pulling down my dip and I go to the sink to wash my hands, and the thing that often and normally happens to me, I start peeing while I'm washing my hands. But instead of, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to change my underwear now, it's that was nice. A lot less stress. I used to think that it was like the degree of the accident that determined whether or not I should count as incontinent or not. And now I don't think that way, especially because of how sensitive I am. It was just like I had to always think about it. And also changing just style of underwear. If you're gonna do, what did I see that meme? Thin underwear Monday. If you're gonna do thin underwear Monday, I don't know why you would. Something that is more absorbent than like really crisp boxer shorts is a must. It doesn't have to be panties. Honestly, gosh, this is the most stream ever for me. So clippable. The best underwear to piss yourself in that is not a diaper or I want to get this exactly quotable. The best underwear to piss yourself in that is not a diaper or training pants are tidy whities or their closest equivalent at your disposal. It's just science. Generally thicker cotton is good. Every type of underwear has an accident threshold that you can get away with. What I would refer to as the accident threshold is how much can you wet yourself before it shows on your pants. That's basically what I would go by. If you do struggle with continence, which, you know, being completely honest and stoic even to the point, like, if you're in this space and you feel more incontinent than you feel at home with any of the other stuff that gets talked about in terms of diaper stuff, you are valid. Because of the company I keep, I don't usually meet incontinent people who aren't babs, or at least diaper lovers, but like, they exist and they're valid too. Damn, did not have to call me out, lol. I see. Are you a golem? Fucking Christ. Well, I've been getting to know you more, Adele, because you're like a regular now. So, I mean, I have to pay at least a little attention to you. More so than I would normally. Where everyone knows your name, or something like that. Little dribbles, not fun. Cold and icky feeling. Yup. I hate it. So yeah, that's a whole thing. I'm not leaking enough. Make me not incontinent.
On C1 half
Fine.
just subscribed.
You are my little
Hey
side
oh,
champ.
long time no see.
Hey Nancy! Thank you for the subby! Thank you for being a subby wubby. How are you? Fuck, it's good to see you. Dell says, I am a black pansexual, poly, demi, and gender, well, nah. I respond to any pronouns. There, you got my label. You want my ID and social security number now? Maybe a little later. Maybe a little later. I notice things. I drink and I know things. Do you summon golems? I thought you like more construct golems. You summon like demons or spirits or shit, even deities. I don't usually think about summoning a golem. But I could be wrong. I am certainly not an expert on golems. I'm good, although a little stressed. I take the plane tonight. The plane? Oh, whoa. I hope you have a safe trip. I haven't been on a plane in a really long time. Ugh. Remember not to put razor blades in your shoes. I don't know why you would do that. But, you know, Fight Club. This has been a serious conversation. To give you a break from this serious conversation, I would like to remind you that I redeemed an insult and a synthetic compliment. Please, bully. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Noelle. You're just like such a dork that it was hard to see you asking for my attention so hard. I guess you deserve a little bit of praise. You've been doing really good in school and trying your hardest to get ahead. And I'm just like, damn, you're such a fucking nerd. I mean, you do you. You staying in your lane quite well. But you know, sometimes it's hard to notice when you're being, you know, such a goody two-shoes. I think I mixed that well. I'll gladly take your credit card and those 3 radical digits on the back. Radical! If you give my social security number and ID, you have to file my taxes as part of the deal. I hate that. No thank you. Gosh, I hate doing well, I say doing my own taxes. Filing my taxes, because I technically don't do my own taxes. I always use a service? I typically use a service. I'm about to get more water soon. So I'm gonna, in a minute, I'm gonna get up, get water. Should I change too? Gosh. I'm gonna let one more, no, I definitely should not change. What, am I crazy? We've only been streaming for like 2 hours and 14 minutes? Alright, I've just been wetting so much in a short amount of time. I'm like, wait, do I need a change? Do I need changes? I don't know what else I wanted to talk about before I got up, because I still haven't talked about the thing that I plan to talk about specifically. I've just been like touching on it. So there's that, which is funny. No, not more water. For self-care, this minute. I guess I'll go now. I have to refill my water and pee more. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I did more than just grab water, but I completely filled the water up so I can keep getting fucking water tortured. Thank you for being patient with me. Also, I think when I post this VOD, I'm literally probably gonna name it like the day Drizzle became truly cringe. Cause like, gosh, I'm either really amazing or really, really stupid. Cause damn. I mean, sometimes we'll have those moments when chat like descends into diaper talk and like sometimes and maybe you can tell sometimes we begrudgingly engage it, not because we have a problem with it, because obviously we don't, but it's more like we're just like, but what about the minority fluff bite audience member who might be like, I don't like diapers and that makes me uncomfortable. And I think about growth and I go, I'm gonna try not to do that anymore, because I just want a space that I can enjoy as well. If I try to cultivate it for people who only sometimes maybe will be comfortable with me, then just I'm basically pandering to like an idea of like normalcy that I do not fit. And like how I was talking about incontinence masking or like autism masking, I'm not gonna be cringe masking anymore if I can help it. Hey Adi, welcome to the stream. Diapers are comfy. Water type vibe. I am a plant fairy, thank you very much. Technically a plant dragon fairy, but it really depends on which generation of Drizzle you're looking at. Yeah, I teleported back. Oh, so how are the kids? Referencing my lore drop of, yes, I am divorced. We didn't have kids. Thankfully, we didn't want them. Yes. I think that's the first time I've ever gotten that joke. Only a couple of our close friends have actually known, and partners. Pretty much anyone who has dated us has known we were divorced. I mean, I feel like it's a part of our history that's kind of hard to avoid once you get to a certain amount of knowing us. And of course, sometimes we've not leaned into talking about it. Like, we've almost said it a bunch. I don't know if I've ever actually said it on a stream before now, maybe once. But yeah, now I'm a lot more comfortable with it. I've healed a lot more than I ever thought I would. So that's nice. So I'm actually able to engage with it and jokes about it too, actually. Don't bully me too much, though. You can't be inclusive to everyone. People who are made uncomfy by diapers should not follow your channel. That is fair. I mean, and there's plenty of other stuff that I sometimes feel a way about. Sometimes I feel weird about being so overtly SJWE, which honestly doesn't even come from not wanting to be. It just comes from like the thing of like pink-haired SJWs, and I was like, fuck it, what if I am? But I'm not a perfect little SJW either. I am not immune to being problematic. Wait, I just drank like casually and I need to actually see how many fucking hydrate redeems. That was just self-care actually. So that was fine. Also smoked a little bit while I was gone. Actually, since I'm thinking about it, I should stretch because it is not truly a self-care unless I stretch as well. Good gracious Ignatius. You know I'm getting comfortable now because I took off some clothes. I mean, you can't tell because I'm a VTuber and I have that ability, so you can't see. I'm just now in my onesie now. I'm only saying that because I'm just like, I feel a lot more in my element now. And like I was trying to cool down. I had my Kigu on and I was just like, this is not working. I was just sweating that out. And I only had a half one while I was getting water because I had to refill the thingy. And I was just like, I am so glad I wore the Kigu over it because my roommate that I am not dating knows that I wear and knows that I am incontinent. And there's almost no way they don't know that I'm a baby fur. But I'm still a little bit sheepish about it. So I try not to get too comfortable that I'm just like, oh yes, I just pissed myself 3 times and I'm only in a onesie and I'm just casual as fuck. I felt that I could do that when everyone in the house was overtly a bab, but not right now. But it was almost me being fully comfortable because I had one arm out of the sleeve because I was just like, I am hot. So there was that. And once I got back in my room, I was just like, fuck this. And it's also my girliest onesie. Cause like we have a lot of like normal fitted onesies, but we have exactly one that's like what do you call them? Like a baby doll? Or whatever. So that's what I'm wearing right now. I am fully in my element. Here we go. Oh, hey Anna. How are you? I saw you were streaming earlier. Did you have fun? That was just me making a small talk joke while you were gone. Oh, okay. Oh, how's the kids? I feel you. I want to get into my pimp, but I lack the motivation. I totally understand. Sometimes I lack the motivation to, like, eat. And that's pretty much is important to me. Am I a doll? I'm only sometimes a doll. Tonight, I'm a doll. You can regard me as a doll tonight, at the very least. To answer the question, I prefer accountable spaces. Safe spaces because mistakes are natural and will always happen, but it's about like community response to those fuck-ups. I think I'm trying to get better about that with this community. I've certainly made a few decisions that I feel like I had to make for the betterment of my community, even though I didn't necessarily want to make them. And the longer you have a community and the longer you see people like interact with it and new people come in and out, you get a better understanding of like what kind of accountability you need. I'm still struggling with that, honestly. We banned someone from the community recently, and I felt really weird about it because we don't usually need to ban someone who's not a troll. So that felt weird. And just like feeling like it's okay to do it. Like I'm still getting used to just banning someone who just like is giving me bad vibes because I feel like I always want to like a reason because I hate to make people feel rejected, especially if they're like earnestly not fucking up on purpose or not earnestly like trying to hurt someone's boundaries, which is why I don't always ban people who've been banned in other people I know's chat, but I do keep an eye on them to be like, okay, you've already been banned out of one streamer community. I should be aware of things that you might do in that room. And it's been okay, but I definitely could be better about it, or quicker to it. I also love online trans culture, sans turfs, and miserable fucks. There's so much to unpack there. It's actually funny that you came in, Hanao, because literally the 2 hours I've been streaming and talking about a lot of shit before now has been kind of talking about like how I wanted to talk about today's topics, but now I'm about to get into it in earnest, and it's about to be really funny. I'm hoping you'll give me the motivation. Aw, Adi, you definitely deserve to be padded and safe, and eventually warm and padded and safe, and a little bit squishy. I believe in you. You should get padded. Oh my gosh, that could be a redeem. Drizzle, Fluffbite encourages you to get padded, and something you will opt into because it's a fucking redeem. So, yeah, I feel like that'd be comfortable. We're totally kind of, after we come back from hiatus, do kind of like a soft rebrand. Like we're not gonna be Fluffbite or anything, but like we're gonna change a lot of like our stream elements, and we want to be a lot more creative with what we stream and how we stream, and try to have a little bit more streams like this. Not necessarily, hi, I'm intoxicated and streaming and feeling quite chatty. More like, oh, okay, I've thought about how I want to approach this topic, and I haven't like torn my hair out about it, but I do think it's cool to talk about, and I want to have people not just watch me play video games and do cool voice acting. I want to have people feel like they have more engagement. And not in a I need engagement farm sort of way. More like I want to be a little bit more reactive. White-lit safe spaces are inherently for me because trauma. So I've moved away from that wording personally. That and comfy streamer, etc. I always felt weird putting like safe space or cozy or comfy as like my tags, because my stream can have comforting moments, but like it's weird. I felt weird about calling it a safe space sometimes, because like sometimes we'll talk about really triggering topics, and I feel like I'm more willing to talk about potentially triggering or argument causing topics than a lot of other streamers, especially other VTubers. But then I notice you're more likely to be able to want to talk about those things if you're part of those affected groups, or just generally like wanting to be visibly leftist. I think that there's like, it's a sliding scale. And it's been interesting trying to like make rules that allow for open discussions about things and not like shut people down just because they're talking about a thing that gets a little bit dicey, Damn, I'm glad we're on the same page. It's getting late for me, so have a good night, everyone. Bye bye, Noelle. Thanks for being here. Sleep tight. Especially as an autistic person, I do not want to like shut down someone when they mess up. Mood. I'm all over that. That's how I feel. I've missed streams. I missed y'all. We missed you too. We're really worried about you. We're glad you've been doing okay, or at least good enough to stream. Such a good being. To answer the question, a safe space to me is simply a space where you don't feel in danger. In my definition, it can never totally be safe, because that just does not exist for us. Trauma and stuff reaching us that we're never safe. But at least not feeling any danger is comfortable. Okay. I like that. Thank you, Ansi. Huh, 2 Ansies in chat, I see. There's an interesting it's an interesting place to be in, where people assume that if you want a safe space that you want no conflict or no like bad things ever, and some people do certainly want like a hug botsy space, But I remember seeing like a video recently, actually today, about like how certain people in certain like especially queer adjacent fandoms were reacting to like TV shows, stuff like Our Flag Means Death, and a Korean drama whose name I can't remember, but it has to do with a lot of disaster queers in a big friendship, and how people were responding to that in certain ways. And the YouTuber was talking about how like even if you're trying to avoid everything that could be misconstrued as like abuse and like fucked up shit, like first off, that will make like really not super fun to watch stuff. Like stories have conflict generally, and then also like you can never be completely 100% not offended by something. And a lot of people have made on the internet like being offended like this whole thing, like this gotcha, like haha, you're offended. And it's just like, yes, I understand that I will not be able to avoid things that make me feel bad and that knock on my particular trauma, or even particular ways that ongoing institutions seek to hurt or discourage or something me, you know? Redact it. And so like being able to be a little bit flexible, I think is really good. And I think like it even sometimes wraps into learned helplessness, because some, weird to say given this community, but some spaces certainly infantilize you in the sense of trying to overly curtail or police challenging notions, challenging thoughts, things that can make people argue and stuff like that. And especially for like content creator related communities, I understand why that's necessary for a lot of people. But I think there's certainly an overabundance of it sometimes. But at the same time, it's certainly overblown that people are just like, will just claw your eyes out for being potentially problematic. Or liking like one problematic thing. Like honestly, I've had to come to terms with like having a safe community, but also not necessarily looking like a not trying to look perfect anymore. I was talking about that a little bit earlier, that you can't have a perfect community, and some people will be will not feel comfortable in certain communities, and you can't, not even just you can't, the more you try to make a space hospitable for every single kind of person, the more you will make it for select people, especially people of minority groups, to not feel welcome or to not feel seen or heard. So that's a thing to struggle with. I'm getting better at it though. You should pad yourself now. That's a little bad cop, but I see you. One problem in your server. A place you're trying to go to won't work. Oh, that was a vetting measure. You should have access to the server now. Sorry, I'm keyboard smashing. One of my friends that I haven't talked to in a while just started messaging me and checking if I was okay. And I just feel really seen and heard and good. This is a good day. You don't understand how good this day is to me. Fucking Christ. Okay, I want to catch up on chat again. I'll check Discord again in a minute. Miserable fucks equal cis pandering trans people who hate on other trans people. Oh, this is exactly what I want to start talking about. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna have to pull up the screen cap in a second, because like I have been waiting so much to actually get into the meat of what I want to talk about. I won't label myself as comfy because I refuse to make myself palatable or comfortable for white cis-het etc. people. Mood though! I still feel weird about it sometimes because I was conditioned so much by my environment to be that way. Like in my everyday life. Like in a sense that was just like so self-policing and like basically I had a panopticon in my head. Still do. Oh no, I was quoting Ansi. Okay, I thought you had a headmate named Ansi. I got you. I won't censor my existence and all the mess that comes with it, especially for other people. It's actually funny, I think that I've known people who thought that was what I was doing, but I was just like, I was different enough that it seemed like, oh, there's nothing that you're holding back or repressing. You just live your life one day at a time and you know, let it all hang out. And it was like, actually, I have cultivated this identity so you can think I'm really together and really palatable to you and people in general. It's really hard to unlearn that. As far as I know, it's such a mood. I forget if you saw my text thing. I feel comfy to chaotic and crude spaces to an extent. No, I did not see that. Thank you for poking me about that, Del. Is it weird that while I enjoy safe spaces, I truly feel comfy in hostile spaces? It depends on what do you mean by hostile. Like, I like having an argument. And when I say argument, I don't mean like a yelling match. Like how a relationship doesn't have to be romantic. A relationship can be any sort of entanglement or like interaction between two or more people. In the same way, an argument can be a conversation between two or more people, especially if they're coming from different perspectives that may not completely resonate with each other, if that makes sense. I like to tell people very quickly, like, you cannot offend me. I simply don't know you like that. I don't know you enough to care about what you might say. You can make me uncomfortable, but that's pretty much it because you're not a friend and you're not family. Which is something I've said to coworkers and randos, like, sorry if I offend you. And it's like, I'm like, bro, Mr. Supervisor, I simply cannot care. It's a matter of survival. That has done more for me than every statement someone ever told me of I need to grow thicker skin ever. Like that is such a good way to handle it. And it's like, yeah, I care more about the opinions of people that I actually respect and know than just strangers. And honestly, it's funny talking about like online spaces because I had a really good day outside today. And it was just by happenstance that that bolstered my confidence in talking about weird and cringy stuff today for a lot of reasons. But also just like making space for yourself as a survival tactic is also a weird thing because I feel like you also have to pick your battles too. And I think that's part of it. And not like feeling a need to react in anger to everything that slights you, especially as a minority, is a really good skill to have. And I still struggle with it. I'm definitely more of the fawning variety of survival, where I'm just like, if I'm as palatable as possible, maybe you won't kill me. I'm so happy today's been a good day for you, Drizzle. You deserve it so much, Drizzle Drop. Cries. Dies, pisses and moans. Thank you. Yeah, what does hostile mean? I like spaces that are open and conversational. Yeah, what Drizzle's saying. People talking mad shit, rude but respected for who they are. Sounds like you like it when people can tease each other and like roast each other. When like people aren't like, when there's a level of like familiarity or comfort that people can be a little bit less polite, that ironically makes me think about the thing that I've been really into lately, being a bratty little sister. And it's been feeling really, really good to have like a sort of sometimes play conflict, but also being able to like, if I find something irritating, actually voice it without trying to marinate it in like the most palatable language possible. If I find something annoying, I'm much more likely now to be like, that's kind of annoying, don't you think? Or how much longer is this gonna take? And having an established understanding that like if I say something like that, I'm not trying to be an asshole, and to have like a sort of like back and forth with it, where it's not like, oh shit, Drizzle's being rude. It's like, well, maybe if you weren't pissing your pants all the time, you would have more time to focus on this, huh? And in that sort of way to talk about like hostility or being able to like joke around, or just it not being like, okay, I need to be 100% respectful all the fucking time. I kind of get that, if that's what you mean. Offenses for people I love and trust. Those are the only people who can hurt me that personally. Real shit. I fawn in my wishes to expand in the quality of life while I try to move while I move to spite all who displease me. Shit, you sound like a fucking cosmic horror character. Autistically, I am so bad at that shit, roasting and teasing, lol, because I have anxiety, so I'm constantly worried about misreading stuff and skipping, and all of my energy goes into checking in that, and I don't really feel relaxed. Honestly, it's taken forever for me not to be a complete good girl. Having a headmate that is legitimately a brat in his personality, like, that shit ain't going away, no matter how hard we try, and I don't want it to. And being able to see it as brattiness and realizing, oh, some people are like that. And also like being on the same page about it and stuff. Cause like with our partner, like Dusk and Snack have a completely different dynamic than me and Snack. But now I'm kind of touching on it because I'm starting to be bratty. Which is really funny. I won't say all the things, but I have now had experiences that I never thought I could actually enjoy, and like I'm enjoying them, and it's just like, that's weird, but also cool. I feel like myself is expanding, and my understanding of like the people that I feel like I can let my guard down around and really be at home with. It's certainly a learning process, and I definitely do try to check in if I can. And also not have it on all the fucking time. I think like love bombing can be like that too. If you're too nice to a person, then sometimes like alarm bell goes off. Maybe it's like an anti-grooming alarm bell, because I know that like being love bombed is like sometimes a thing. Shit, there's negging, which is like making someone feel in need of your approval constantly for a long enough time span that anytime you're nice to them, it's like an extra dopamine hit. I don't know if that's the science behind it, but I know that like being used to being talked about from a lower position than someone, especially someone you respect or like a lot, and then suddenly getting some approval can definitely make you not see red flags, or at the very least just be like, oh my god. Probably the trauma here. Yep, also trauma. Trauma is so as I'm sure anyone here can attest to. And there's this sense that it never ends, I will say. Because, like, there's a trauma that I healed from, but I got a whole new trauma to deal with now. And sometimes it stacks, and that sucks. And sometimes I get the, like, Jenga at the bottom, the Jenga block at the bottom out, but then I get some new ones on top, and it's just like, motherfucker. I am the brat, lol. I am mask and tease a lot of my partner, but doing a social with people I don't know well is oh yeah, I don't think I would brat to someone I don't know, not unless I was in a brat positive space, you know, like if I was going to like a littles meet or something, being a little bratty wouldn't be that big a deal, but I'm not gonna be like bratty to like a random cashier in public. Is it, question for chat, is it an accident if you're not potty trained? I'll give people brat lessons. I might do I need to finish the cuteness course, but that could be the next fluff bite course. Bratting 101. I am the baby of the system. Babies unite! I'm here for this. I'm actually not the most fragile in my system, especially because I front so much, but I'm definitely like soft boy sometimes. I am definitely easily bruisable. Same, I am not the protector. Nope, 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 I am not the protector. I'll try to make peace. I'm certainly a pacifist. I'll definitely try to unite people. But yeah, no. I'm good at making up, or I'm better at it than a lot of my headmates, at least. I am the unfazed, confused, but weirdly cute entity of the system. When you're just an autistic critter. I love it. Am I considered a brat? I forget. Damn. Dill, sometimes I see you as a brat, but I think there's some stuff is lost in translation and like interacting you so much with chat and not as much in like VC and stuff. And I think as I get to know you more, like outside of stream, I probably will see you as a brat technically less. But you definitely give off some bratty vibes, but certainly in like this like kind of golden section of brattiness where it's just like, it's not like a ton of pushback. And it's almost like, it's not exactly undetectable. It's just like, is that a bit of a bratness? You can be really cheeky and cute sometimes. Okay, chat is going fast enough that every time I catch up with chat, I am instantly not caught up with chat. So in interest to not be chatting for 4 hours before I play a video game, I will move on to the main course of this discourse. I wasn't gonna blank out the thingy. This isn't a tweet either. This is a skeet from Blue Bloods? Bloodborne? This is a skeet from Bloodborne. And this is what got me putting the bonus topic in. And I was looking at it one way, and then I shared it with some queers that I knew, and now I'm looking at it from a more wider perspective, and certainly a less policing lens. Let's get into it. My girlfriends have talked about this, but I'm feeling it too. The trans feminine narrative, where every week trans femme find a new stereotype to abide by, is inherently toxic, and just others trans femme / femme leaning gender non-conforming folk into obscurity and misery. The narrative is absolutely real and parasocial too. The narrative includes, but is not limited to, every T-girl being a puppy girl now, Fallout and Celeste, programmer socks, quote, passing, being into IT / smart with computers, liking the worst music in the world, hyperpop, clowncore, etc., polycules where you're all clones of each other, there's death more. Now that I've went on my rant up and down the stream about not wanting to be like a perfect little queer and not being like a model minority and trying to unlearn that shit, I now realize just how salty I would have read this if I had taken it exactly how I'm taking it now when I first read it. Because there's some parts that I agree with, but minorly. People reading too deep into fun community jokes. Wow. Oh, I mean, honestly, I would, because of the way that our brain processes things, we generally input new information in like an earnest way before we ever do it in a comedic way. It may be the autism, where it's like, even when we know something is a joke, we definitely think about it like critically in a way. Not necessarily in a, oh, this is stupid or problematic sort of way, or thinking automatically how I disagree, though sometimes I can react that way, like in this sense of like, what's behind this argument? Honestly, if I know it's a joke, there's even more layers to it because of the sense of, okay, you're saying a joke, and this joke may be tinged with your beliefs. It might reflect what you think. Generally, jokes are funny to people who relate to the thought or relate to the situation in some way, oftentimes, for a lot of jokes. So, like, it can reflect your worldview, even if what you're joking about is really fucked up. If I'm joking about something that I think is bad, how I'm joking about how it's bad can say a lot of things about my values, for example. So I want to talk about how I was earnestly looking at it. I was looking at it about the otherness, the feeling that you don't fit in, because I have a lot of experience with the narrative of I don't fit in. And talking about my transness earlier in stream, talking about how I had to be closeted as a non-binary person when I came out as trans, and be like, yeah, I'm just a trans girl, and like having to lean into the expectations for me in like the cis normative way, or like the binary way that people are looking at trans people, even amongst people who say they're supportive of trans people, and the boxes that we put ourselves in. I was thinking of from that perspective when I first like came out and stuff, and it took a lot of time to like explore and mature and find out how I actually felt about things. And sometimes I still feel incongruent with stuff, but I think it comes more from not fitting neatly, because I can describe myself as trans femme, but I feel like that narrows my identity so much that using the term trans femme as the only thing to describe me is almost silly. It's almost silly. The other parts of my identity and the other parts of my transness, my gender is so big it cannot possibly fit into girl only. Shit, I called myself a soft boy earlier. That was the first time I've done that in a while. I don't like being he/himmed, but being called boy in certain contexts feels good, actually. For example, also, fun fact, there's a lot of ways that we deviate from just what we would expect trans femmes to like be like. I have like 3 binders. I have trans mask headmates that like to wear binders, but I like to wear them sometimes too. And I was ashamed of that for a while. I felt really weird about that for a while. And I've also spent a lot of time with trans people that aren't trans femme. I've spent a lot of time with other non-binary folks, a lot of systems too, of a lot of folks trying to make their own space for their gender within one body, which has its own can of worms. And you know, a lot of people who don't fit the stereotypes in ways that are more or less quote-unquote normal, or like would let you feasibly commingle with cis het normative society without as much trouble. And I'm now seeing by looking at this that like some of these things that are the narrative conflict in a weird way ideologically. Like, I'm gonna be real. People who overly value passing and people who perpetuate puppy girl are not the same. They are not the same. They are different. Anyone who is like, I am puppy or I am kitty or anything like that is not trying to pass. At least not in the strictest sense of, okay, so there can be like, I want to look like a girl in the quote-unquote trans femme narrative, and like trying to deal with your dysphoria and stuff. And then there is trying to be seen in a passing way, because I want to be seen as femme a lot of times when I go out, but I don't necessarily. I guess to make it easy, if someone sees me in public, I want them to know that I'm trans. And I don't, and I guess in that way, if someone misgenders me, then they kind of show their ass in a way, even if it's by accident. And so I'm weirdly seeing contradictions here, but I'm gonna look at it again. Oh, hey Fall, nice to see you. Some of my favorite people are here. I feel so good about today. Wow. So many things to talk and think about. okay, so this thing that I was thinking of, like, a lot of communities, especially communities based on like popular properties, like fandoms, can sometimes fall into this thing that uh that this poster is talking about. Like, for example, I am in the Rick and Morty fandom, and mentioning that, I always feel the need to be like, hey, I was at the Szechuan sauce meetup, but I didn't stand on a desk, and I didn't yell at people, and I didn't, I don't know, be over obstructive, but I was there. Like, I feel like I have to, like, preface it with, I'm a good Rick and Morty fan, right? And that's kind of the feeling that some of my queer friends that I showed this to were giving me the vibe of just like, this just sounds like policing what people can be interested and be about. Because what this person is seeing as something that's like overly toxic, and this way that's like pushing trans feminine culture into looking like one exact thing, is actually a bunch of different narratives and like ways of being, especially in meme format, that like overlap, and some that are disconjointed and don't perfectly map onto each other. But they are a collection of things that if you look at, I don't know, like trans memes, or you look down like a fucking trans shit posting page, you're gonna run into things that have to do with these things, at least in some ways. But a lot of time jokes. If your Abby's wearing a diaper, then I'll be motivated to put mine on. Well, I gotta let you know, I literally told the person who made my art, who made my Sona, to make me visibly padded. So don't have to worry about that. I'm not taking off my pants, but you deserve to be padded if you like. You'll be in good company. I wish to not exactly pass, but be gender confusing. Gender confusion! Yes, I love that. I want that for you. I want that desperately for you. So, if I think about my friend group, or like people that I know who would feel comfortable under the trans femme label at least a little bit, I can pick and choose some that some of them care about, or some that have like a major part of, you know, their vibe. I don't want to say identity, I want to say vibe. And I think the reason I was trying to steel man this and look in good faith was because I'm so used to being an other, even within groups that I shouldn't feel other than, that them automatically playing apologetics for anything that disparages me and people like me. Because there were certain things, and I remember talking to some of my friends, that made me realize that I had a big shame component of like talking about Bridget, because when the whole Bridget's trans thing was announced, we made a video about it. We had trans picture, like a Bridget picture for our profile picture, even on Twitter. We made a place in our Discord just called fucking Brisket. This is technically for all Guilty Gear content. But we have a Bridget part of our server. Like, we're Bridget brained, and a part of us wanted to like be a little bit hipster about it. Like, I like Bridget before everyone knew that she was definitely canonically trans. But that's just gatekeeping in a different way. Like, oh, because I felt resonant with this character before I got like the overt representation, that somehow makes me a better fan or something. No, I don't think that anymore, or I try not to think like that. But at the same time, seeing a lot of people flock to a certain character, or like a certain meme, or a certain like a certain thing, a certain signifier, can sometimes feel really othering if you don't share that thing. And sometimes it can make you feel like a follower if you are. And that's what I was feeling like. I was like, I actually let some of that shame and that stuff creep in, of just like, oh, you like this because everyone else likes it. I was like, no, I don't. I like it because I like it. And I even let Fantasia have a lot of that joy, a lot of that pure trans joy, because I was just too afraid to look all cringy with my Bridget profile picture. So I was just like, that's mostly Fantasia. And it's just like, I love Bridget. Bridget's awesome. I love Bridget so fucking much. and it's really wild. I'm gonna start from the top. Every T-girl being a puppy girl now. I have noticed some of that, but there's still plenty of other types of stuff. But I think like the commonality is the overlap and kink, and there's a lot of people who like pet play in the trans community. Trans people are just more likely to be kinky in general. So that's just how it go. But the person I knew that I talked to about this was literally just like, it's weird to see someone like attack my actual, like, some of my actual things. I'm like, hey, this is something that I like, and this is something that I am, and it's okay. And also, in the more like the even more radical acceptance thing, if someone's only like this because they think that it makes them more intrinsically trans or more valid, or it just makes them feel good and they're not really thinking about it, and they're not just like super earnestly, I liked it before it was cool about it, doesn't mean anything negative. And if someone learns and explores and then looks back at the things that are on this list and goes, oh, that's not really me anymore, then that's fine too. People should be allowed to explore and stuff. And puppy girls rock. Wow, who knew? Also, being a furry, I'm almost immune to this because I'm just like, I don't go bark a lot. I go rah, rah. Okay, that was kind of a bark. Rah. Yeah, like that one's almost a non-issue for me. Fallout and Celeste. Love Celeste. I have still yet to play a Fallout game. I want to, but I don't see it as like, oh, this cracked my egg. Some people had that experience. I didn't. And I was certainly trans already when I played Celeste. And it's like, that is literally trans representation. And it was really funny that anyone was saying that Celeste, or sorry, Madeline wasn't trans, considering the creator came out as trans. And, you know, it's just like, they drop a hints and stuff, and it's just like, maybe this character is trans. One day, a character will turn to the camera and say, I am trans, I am a girl, or some shit. And people will be like, I don't know, we have to look into the wider context. Does this actually mean they're trans? And it's like, celebrating representation and really liking to be seen, and really celebrating things that made you discover who you are. Very good shit. Very good shit. If it's cringe, it's the cringe I like. Programmer socks. Programmer socks and being into IT/smart with computers is the ones that like most otherize me, because like I can be a gamer in like any sort of game I fucking want. I have the deep well, but like programmer socks and being into IT, like that made me feel really weird, because there's a lot of trans people who've had experiences in IT or are really like computer smart. And they were like that way before they knew that they were trans, or while they were closeted and stuff like that. And it feels like is definitely like a hallmark of the trans community to be really into like music and tech and stuff. Even when people aren't like being able to see you. There's a lot of people who have been in tech to some degree who later come out as trans, and people go, oh, what? And it's so silly. And it's like, celebrating that history, that intrinsic history that's part of our community and part of a lot of shared people's experiences, I don't think is a bad thing. And I think people leaning into STEM stuff is cool. And some people really like being like, hacker, I am in. I think that's a cool thing to celebrate, actually, not something to disparage. The programmer socks is the more funny one, because it's just like, hey, look, I got these things to say that I'm trans, and you know, I'm also a programmer. These are for my my programming nights. And it's like, that's just a silly little thing. That is just silly, and I love it. And I think that's where I'm going into like the more, oh, this is cringe, so that's why they don't like it sort of thing, and that feeling. Passing. I skipped passing because I wanted to relate the programmer socks and being into IT, but passing I think was a really interesting one, because like we think about passing a lot. Like we mentioned how we kind of like weren't like really anal about it today, and weren't like really focused on it, but we did notice that we didn't get misgendered, and we felt really good about it, and we just felt really good as ourselves and like had a good time. And it's not always gonna be like that. We will have bad days again, I'm sure of it. It's, you know, life, right? Life is filled with happiness and sadness. But like, it was nice to be reminded that there can be good days. And also that like not every misgendering is like spiteful or trying to hurt you and stuff like that. I'm thinking again of what Hano said, and it's like, people that I like love and respect are the people that I'm worried about like how they think of me more. Though it can be like a little like death by 1,000 cuts of psychic damage to like constantly not be seen the way you want to be seen in society. And especially as a non-binary person, like I'm constantly having to make like concessions and what I expect, let alone as sorry, I should say I have to make concessions on what I expect as a trans femme, let alone as a non-binary person. That's how I should have said it. And like, passing is a standard for a lot of people, not just because of safety, but because of dysphoria. And some people mention that maybe passing wouldn't be such a big deal if like we weren't under such scrutiny, if the gender binary wasn't so strict, if things were like not so us versus them, and like if gender wasn't so divisive for so many fucking people, and people were allowed to just be who they say they are and not come up against so many problems. And even to the degree of like cis people having to like overly perform their gender in ways that they don't want to or are comfortable with, because they have to not just verify for themselves internally, but verify for the world that they're not just a girl or a boy, but a good girl or a good boy, and not in the nice way, in the like, if I fail at this, it means I'm less of a person sort of way, or I should expect to be respected less sort of way, you know? I don't, and I know that and passing, I would say, is a big thing for like white passing trans femmes, if we're talking about trans femmes specifically, because I don't want to only have this conversation be about trans femmes. Although I do know that there are gonna be different stereotypes if we're talking about trans masc people, or even non-binary people, not so much with the mask or the femme attached, you know? And I think it's frustrating, but it's part of what we have to deal with right now because of the overarching culture, especially as people are growing up and like feeling more and more pressure to pass earlier and earlier, let alone the transition as early as possible. I remember before the big panic started with trans kids, I used to feel so jealous of trans kids for being able to like, to possibly, because not everyone does, get able to like not have the wrong puberty first. And I'm just like, damn, I would be so much happier and passing so much better if da 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 da. But it's like, almost like being disabled. It's kind of like, shit, if I didn't look so disabled, maybe my life would be better. And it's like, what if we didn't fight for a world and a life where we pass better as someone who's not disabled, but fight for a world where it is accepted and it's fine, where if you don't seem abled, then you're not gonna get shit for it, and it's not gonna make your life inherently worse. That's a world I want to fight for, and I can't. And as much as salt as I feel about like trans people that pass, and I have friends that pass, and I have to do my best to like not make them feel bad about it. And sometimes I'm in a bad mood and I feel resentful sometimes. And it's okay to feel jealous. And it's okay to be angry at the world that we've been given. And in my case, like I had to contend with, and I mentioned this earlier in stream, that I'm the type of not passing trans person, or our body is the type of not passing trans body that we feel almost naturally evokes the shitty cis thing of, oh, but if you don't transition, you will look so pretty as a gender that you were assigned, or whatever, you know? And like, I definitely make the joke sometimes that I would have made such a good twink, but like, And honestly, I would have been such a great twink. But there is just this like there's been this sense that in my head that's like, okay, I don't pass, but at least I'm attractive, which is already like sort of ableist in its own way, or I guess like beautyist. We never thought ourselves as someone who like benefits from pretty privilege, but in terms of like colorism, we definitely do. Because we're black and we're not white passing, but we definitely have lighter skin. And we're definitely on the side of the gradient of like melanized people that like people will automatically think of us as less dangerous and more all the things that you should not just associate with someone's fucking skin tone. Is definitely let us move through society more. So as much as I feel salty, I'm gonna try my best not to disparage people who worry a lot about passing, even if it's not chiefly in their minds about survival, because at the end of the day, we live in a really shitty culture, and I don't think it's fair when like everyone has this really shitty modifier, and some people do get lucky, but that doesn't mean their life is easy, and that certainly doesn't mean that they don't have their own struggles with it. If anything, I feel like being like overly concerned with or feeling like you have passing privilege can be a bigger detriment to your mental health than like a boon. Christ, let me go back up. Gender confusing is also the goal. Get it, Hana? It's cute seeing your snappies and padding with your avatar. Thank you, thank you. It makes sense, Drizzle. I try to read things multiple ways before commenting or replying or conversating about it. That's why I also like bouncing off of other people what they think, so that I can like have a bigger perspective, because just coming from my own is like too narrow. So I'm glad that I wanted to talk about this on stream, and I talked to other trans people about it. Something that was said that like really resonated with me about it was like, I wouldn't be trans without other trans people. Like having signifiers of being trans and things we celebrate, things we're silly about, is nice. And it's okay. And not just that, but like having something to like associate with, especially in a good way, is like, is a net good. Does more good than it does bad. I'm now paraphrasing because I don't want to try to directly quote anyone, but it's just kind of like, I like my puppy girlfriend. I like my Blanche, you know? And I'm just like, yeah, I like my hot chip and lie. You know what? Like, actually, I love that. And then that the last two is the one that I feel weird about. I feel the most weird about the last two, even though the last two aren't the most critical in a way. But the last two I very much resonate with needing to talk about. Oh no, I never play Fallout! I'm not trans enough! I wish I could hold your paw, Ansley. I've never played Fallout either. I can't believe I'm not trans anymore. Now I'm thinking of that meme from fucking the thing Joe Biden said, where it's like, oh, if you don't vote for me, then you're not black then. It's just like, oh, really? It's like, you're gonna play Fallout so you're not trans then, and then someone's transness burns away. Oh no! Just transitions again, just to be trans again. And that's taking the like, oh, like my transness disappeared thing. I was like, you're not gonna cure transness just like you're not gonna fucking cure autism. Sorry. The liking the worst music in the world part is funny, though, LMAO. I do like music. I do like that music, but it's so funny to see it unironically listed as that. I love clowns. I haven't heard a lot of clowncore, but I'm like, I'll probably like clowncore. It's like, oh shit, you're disparaging a music genre? I think I'll get into it now. I get what you mean. I am so jealous of people who get to be on hormone blockers. Mood. Sometimes I think about how different my life would have been. I'm just like, that's a completely different life though. Even if I would have been more happy, but it also would have come with its own issues, especially with the family that I had. Honestly, if I lived in a reality with approximately the same family that I grew up with, but on blockers, I would have had to hide that shit. I would have had to find a way to hide that shit somehow. Don't know if I would have been able to. Or maybe it would have led to something insane and I would have gotten emancipated. Like, it would have to have been that wild. Because I felt like I was dodging such a bullet by coming out in adulthood, just from the fact that if I did come out when I was younger, I know for a fact, based on my family's reaction, that I would not have had a home. At the very least, by junior year of high school, I would have been kicked out. I know that almost for a fact. I know how I am with clowns. How are you with clowns, Dill? The polycule thing is weird. The polycule thing is weird. I felt very attacked by the polycule thing, so I didn't see it as the shade of the amount of shade that it is until like reassessing. Am I cringe yet? My pants are inflating. I can't quite put into words why and how that feels really fucked up, but yeah, LMAO also feels very much like, let me bring this before the autistic council. The autistic council! It be like that though. I don't know a lot of, I mean, I know some people who don't identify as autistic, but I don't know a lot of neurotypical people like at all. You're cringe in that you're base for not worrying about how people think of you by opening up about yourself. Thank you. Fuck that. Fuck, they deserve to be displaced from their circus homes. Duh, that's the fucking brat shit I'm talking about. Autistic council equals my group chat / DMs with other autistic people. Yes. Thank you for translating for people who don't understand. Okay, so liking the worst music in the world. Actually, one of the most important people in my life who has ever been in my life, who also happened to be trans, really liked nightcore, and now I like nightcore. I associate it with that person, and it makes me feel closer than when I listen to it. I don't know if I would have the same appreciation for nightcore if not for that person, but I know for a fact that I don't think nightcore is shitty music, at least not wholly. And it's always like a weird thing when I see someone like talking shit about a genre of music, and I'll be like this way even for country, because I do like country, and country isn't all just like Republican shit. Sometimes it lets me have a barometer of just how weird can I expect this person to be without some shade. Cause like I don't listen to a lot of hyperpop, but when I'm listening to hyperpop, I feel good. And there's genres that I'm not like listening to a lot, but I still enjoy. But also I'm used to having niche interests that get disparaged a lot. To the degree that like sometimes I earnestly identify as a hipster in the sense of like a lot of it sometimes, but not in like an uppity way. Like I'm a hipster, which I always thought was funny because people told me for a really long time that you can't be a hipster if you admit it, and it's just like thinking that you like some niche things and fall into a pattern of behavior or style. It's almost like the thing we're talking about right now. So I now realize just why I felt really squirmy about the whole hipster discourse. Because I'm just like, if we're being earnest and we're not just talking about white people who take from other people's culture and say it's the new hip thing, if we disqualify those type of hipsters, or at the very least don't see them as the like the most valid hipster, or like I don't even want to say the most visible, but like as long as you're not solely talking about that group of people, I don't think there's any harm in being a hipster. And it's weird to come into that place. I guess I really have pissed out on my cringe, because I just wow. So we like a lot of different types of music, so we can actually mask. Again, I'm so good at masking. I can mask as having like good, not cringy music taste. But I really love my J-rock and my J-pop. I really love my video game OSTs. I love Anamanaguchi in particular, in terms of like nerdy music. I sometimes listen to rap and hip hop. And I grew up with it, and I felt estranged from it to such a degree that I felt less black because of it, you know? But I actually don't really feel that way anymore, though sometimes I do jokingly still call myself an Oreo, but I don't really take it as a badge of honor like I used to. I'm just me, and I'm allowed to be me. And maybe, especially as a part of many different minority groups that have their own, like, cultural and, like, outsider stereotypes, maybe this post didn't hit me in the same way that it would for, like, someone who isn't very marginalized outside of being trans. And I say this as a person who, as far as I can tell at a cursory glance to the person who posted this, is certainly not the most vanilla trans person you will meet. But I did see people reacting to this post and agreeing with it and talking about like certain people they feel left out of like, oh, trans conversations. And I now realize that like a lot of that stuff still falls into like people celebrating what they are and who they are, and it also has to do with like who chooses to be seen by that and talk about how they're seen by that. Because if you don't have a blush, I don't think anyone's gonna bully you about the fact that you don't have a blush. I don't have a blush. I felt weird about wanting one, about how cute it is. I always thought that like maybe I should get an alternate one, and I still feel kind of like I want to do that too, but now I just want both, because they have a dolphin plushie related to May from Guilty Gear. It's like some official Guilty Gear merch, and I kept thinking to myself, I should get that and be like, this is my blush, trying to deviate a little bit and be like, hey look, I'm not so cookie cutter. And it's like, sometimes it's actually not even sometimes, it's okay to like popular shit. You can like The Walking Dead, you can like fucking League of Legends, you can like Call of Duty. It's okay. You can like, what was it, pumpkin spice lattes. It's fine. If a person was earnestly like, I feel alienated by this last one, polycules just in general, I think I could take it a lot more at face value. But then it was just like, polycules where you're all clones of each other. And it's like, I think that that may be taking the memes a little bit too earnestly or seriously. But maybe like my my lived experience conflicts with that. Just because like the people that I'm in a polycule with and have been in a polycule with, we certainly have a lot of overlap. Like, you know, like being baby furs or something. But honestly, I've dated a lot of different kinds of people. I'm not looking for a cookie cutter version of myself. Mentioning ContraPoints in a positive way for once this stream. I remember there was a video where she was talking about like queerness and like wanting to date girls and like falling into like a quote unquote straight phase and whatnot, and feeling really weird about dating another girl, trans or not. And there are like straight like trans folks, there are monogamous trans folks, and I think honestly, if this list was tailored to how I felt when I first got into the trans community, I would have added being communist to this list. And I was racking my brain about like, how can I not slide more left than I would naturally do? I was like, I don't have a problem with communism or being a communist, but I don't want to be a communist just because I'm trans, because I thought that that's what it meant to be trans, and like if you don't, then you don't fit into the community. And I'm used to having my my identity policed, because as a black person, I've been told by white and black people and all other races that I've had some sort of contact with, I guess, that like I'm not black enough, or I'm more white than I am black, or I am white on the inside, or That's really interesting for a black person. I really expected this of you. And so like I'm very, very much used to like being measured against something. And yet the more I'm looking into this, the less empathy I'm feeling. And I know that I'm not gonna feel no empathy because I'm just a very empathetic critter. But at the same time, I'm also just like, a lot of people living their best life and doing like free love and like having really amazing interactions, and like being is one of those things. If I looked at my own self, like me being non-monogamous had nothing, I don't want to say nothing to do with being trans, but it was not affected by transness. Like I can earnestly say that, just like in general, I came to monogamy naturally. Sorry, not naturally. I came to monogamy because it was expected of me. And when I had like right when I had gotten engaged, before I got divorced. So people don't say congratulations weirdly, since it's new information for people. My partner at the time was like, "Hey, I'm not monogamous. I hope that's okay, because you know I don't want to be monogamous for you. I don't want to live that life." And it hit me. It's like, oh wait, I forgot about that whole non-monogamy thing. I didn't really think about if I wanted to engage with her or not, because it wasn't really relevant. I hadn't been in a situation where I needed or wanted to date more than one person at a time. Really, at that point, didn't even think of it as an option. And then once it was like a reality, I felt a little weird about it, because it was just like, shit, if I'm staunchly monogamous, then this relationship isn't gonna work. But I also learned that relationships don't always work, even outside of what you think will make them work. Because I certainly wanted my relationship to work and was like, oh yes, non-monogamy, I hope this works out. But now I'm at a point where, irregardless of who I'm seeing, I would be non-monogamous, regardless. Even if I fucking detransitioned, I would never be monogamous again. Not by choice. Not by choice, not at all. And I think that just like how cliques can form, sometimes polycules and like friend groups can have a lot of things similar. And when you have this list, and you have multiple things on this list together, then automatically having a bunch of these things in common, or common trans stereotypes in common, will automatically make you, by the logic of this post, clones of each other. Even if your personalities are not the same, I am realizing. And so, circling back to the whole, like, I came into non-monogamy and didn't even think about the factor of being trans. I certainly did think about, like, how now being in a femme role changed things and what's expected. Because, of course, like, people just getting into non-monogamy, if they're, like, a guy, especially, like, a straight guy, is expected to, like, try to be, like, getting a whole bunch of girls and try and get a whole bunch of sets. That's what they're expected to want to do, at the very least. And like sometimes a new status quo for yourself and your identity and your feelings about certain things can be like a great big experimental phase. And some people, and everyone's gonna make mistakes, and a lot of people are gonna be trying to figure out where they lie. And I figured out that that the way that I am non-monogamous isn't the way that a lot of people are non-monogamous in certain ways. I mean, I think that in the most normie sense, a lot of people will be like, oh, you're non-monogamous? So are you a swinger? And it's just like, no. I'm actually, like a relationship anarchist, or I try to practice relationship anarchy. I don't want any of my relationships to be inherently like at a higher value than others. Even if there is more time and like more inherent importance in my life from a certain partner, because of like not their position as my partner, but like their position in my life as someone I know well and get along with, and maybe my found family. Like, and also just not like trying to rank them, but also like that meshes well with the thing that I get out of polyamory of, okay, no one person can be everything. So it's good to be able to cultivate multiple relationships for different things that serve different parts of what you want out of relationships. Just like you can't just have one friend. And it's like, oh yes, I have one friend that I play video games with and they don't like football, but I like football. So how do I get them to like football? Instead of trying to get them to like football, make some football friends. So there's that. I don't know why I use such a fucking milquetoast example, but there you go. I feel like that last one is definitely like the one in worst faith. I'm gonna add a bonus now, because I didn't screenshot other response posts, and I don't want to belabor this. And if the person who posted this sees this, I don't want them to feel attacked. It's not anyone that I like know directly or I'm friends with, but you know, if I post this on YouTube later, then you know it could happen. You know, someone could recognize, oh, that's the thing I posted. One thing that I did notice some people talking about was that like they don't feel like trans femmes that get like bottom surgery are like represented, because like there's like a lot of like talking about like trans girl dick and like the mouthfeel and all this stuff. And my response to that now, given everything I've already said, is the overrepresentation of trans girls being overly positive about the fact that they have a dick is radical positivity, in the same way that some people will go, when you ask them, how are you doing? They'll be like, I'm doing gay. Of just exuding a part of themselves that they just want to feel good about. And it's hard when you live in a society that can inherently make you feel worth less because of that thing. It's not that trans people who have had bottom surgery are not welcome, or had any sort of anything done to make their life better, to relieve dysphoria, cause euphoria, any of those stuff. It's not that they're being purposely excluded. At least I don't think so. It is that because of the society we live in, and because of the world, and because of the lack of resources and the lack of availability for the people who do want to get like bottom surgery or facial feminization surgery or what have you, I've known trans masculine people who feel weird that they don't have top surgery if they don't, or if they can't. I can't speak as a trans mass person in terms of that, but from the trans people I've known that I've been close to that have desired top surgery or felt pressure that they should want or get top surgery, I will definitely say that it's certainly a, I don't exactly want to call it a grass is greener situation, but a lot of the people who, in the example with trans femmes, are like being like, yeah, I have this cool trans girl dick. A lot of people are like, I really want a trans girl vagina. Like, some people really want that, and it's just like, okay, I can't have it. If I can, I'm basically winning the trans lottery. So I'm gonna celebrate what I do have and feel good about it. Makes the most sense, honestly. I also remember someone being like, "Oh, I've seen people like fall out of the trans femme meta Zietgiest after they get like some sort of surgery." And I do think that there is a pressure to, at least in the most like integrate into society and like try to be cis in as many ways as possible, or cis passing in all ways as possible, kind of like pressure, I think from maybe mainstream trans culture and from like cis people, that like you're supposed to have an endpoint to your transition, and then it's like, damn, now I'm the gender, and I never have to think about it again, or make people uncomfortable with them thinking about it again, with my existence. And it's like, it ain't like that for everyone. A lot of people are exploring their gender, and they will to the day they die. I know I will be. Some people don't want to fit into the boxes. No one should have to, honestly. Whether you've had any sort of surgery or you're even on hormones or not, still valid, still worthy of respect. And I understand that like it can certainly feel ostracizing, but there is also a privilege in being able to have that thing. And I think that that's something to keep in mind. And shit, like there's certain sorts of privileges that I enjoy. I get to be my own little fucking stereotype. You know what I mean? Fucking trans girls are streamers, VTubers, trans girl furry VTubers. A lot, I promise you, a lot, right? And I was inspired by other people VTubing. It was certainly not an original idea in my head that we should become a VTuber. So what if something's unoriginal? Enjoy it. Fuck. So wow. So basically, where I started with this post was, when I first saw it, I went, oh shit, I should feel bad. And now, where I am is, actually, we shouldn't be policing other people in our out group. We shouldn't be trying to be more palatable to the mainstream culture. Just like keep furry weird. Keep being queer. Keep being weird. It's okay. If you want to be less weird, or you're capped out in the weirdness, that's okay too. Oh, whoa. Lunalyko, thank you for following. I hope your life is filled with happiness and sadness, but a real lot of validity and feeling good about yourself. Damn, I'm just now noticing Ansi Wolf half after 1 half after 35 minutes. I'm just like, damn, should be more on that. If you're still here, Ansi, I'm noticing you. You're so adorable. Oh gosh, let me gosh. I so much to talk about. I can't quite put into words why I have feels really fucked up, but yeah, feels very much like, let me bring this before the Autistic Council. I get jealous of like people who get to have cute outfits, because like I'm still struggling with my sense of self-identity with how I look in cute outfits. I'm close to being able to remedy that need though. Nice. Oh yeah, I still gotta send you fucking links to where you can find petticoats and other Lolita gear. Thanks for reminding me, Essie. You're cringe and then you're based, and not worrying about how people think about you being open about yourself. Scroll down a little bit, read that. Hyperpop just scratches my brain in the right way. And I'm fairly sure I'm neurodivergent. So that point feels like an attack on neurodivergent people, LMAO. Pebbles, honestly, I kind of feel that. I think it's making me think of a joke. Especially in like my like specific like brain rotted part of trans culture, where I'm just like, where I found it's supremely funny, where it's like trans girls will make will tell you need to listen to this really awesome hyper pop album, and you listen to it is just fucking diaper girl hypnosis, but that is part of why you need to pay attention to the music, because it's actually part of the fucking it's actually part of the music in this important intrinsic way. I'm butchering the meme, but it's literally like, oh no, they know that it's this, but also it's actually really good music, and it's just like the absurdity in that. And sometimes you're just absurd, and it's okay. I like being silly and frivolous sometimes. And sometimes things that people think of silly and frivolous are actually really important to you, and it's okay to be weird and autistic and neurodivergent and happy. Gosh, I'm glad that that's resonating with people. Country is okay if it's not the pickup truck and kill my husband shit. I don't mind killing my husband shit. That sounds weird out of context. What's that song from Chicago? Damn. He fell into my knife. He fell into my knife 10 times. In Minecraft. I was always told I was a white boy for liking Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts are cute! I want Girl Scouts. I want it to be a Girl Scout, but that's okay. I get to live my gay little sister life now. Damn, I should get a Scouts outfit. Fucking Christ. Drizzle, it's okay. You can say white queers. You can just say white queers. Damn, Hano, you're being fucking overt right now. Gosh. Honestly, I think that if I'm gonna be really specific, the trans people that make me feel alienated the most are white queers who are trying their best to assimilate. Because I don't think I could ever be happy assimilating, and it's not possible for me. And I always feel selfish saying that. And I think I've heard people say something akin to, like, we're not all free until, like, the most marginalized of us is free. And for some people, that means, like, and almost as a joke on the right, sometimes, like, was it a mixed black indigenous neurodivergent disabled trans woman. And it's like, honestly though, like, and the well definitely goes deeper. And of course, like, nothing can be perfect, even if we get, like, what some people will tritely say is like the communist utopia that we want. Like, even if, like, you know, there's no more war somehow, for example, and there's no more countries just doing, like, casual human rights abuses on their own people sometimes, or the people they've colonized, obviously. Even if we lived in a much better world, there's still gonna be conflict, there's still gonna be stuff wrong, there's still gonna be things that people are bullied over. Nothing's perfect, right? And even, like, if we're the most free we can be as, like, a human species or whatever, humans, there's still gonna be a certain type of problems. And I think that that's okay. But, like, people who are kind of like, oh, if we want to be accepted in society, all we need to do is just conform and stuff. Like, I spent a long time conforming, so I think I've had a lot of empathy for it, and I've resonated with that. I've been really scared to let that go. Of the belief that I could have a good life and just, you know, not make waves. But that's just not possible. And if it was, it certainly wouldn't be fun. Transness often makes you more invested in minority politics / community well-being, and communism is down that road. It is naturally, you'll naturally fall into that, yeah. And I know that, like, there are certain people who are, like, less politically inclined or even just more liberal that feel really weird about, like, oh, damn it, they're all, like, all these trans people are communists, I feel weird now. And it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Incrementalism. Incrementalism will not bring about the change we want. It's just plain and simple. Okay, it's actually very complex, and I can unpack that. I'm just choosing not to. For another day. because I've already talked for so long. I'm gonna talk some more. I'm gonna talk plenty more, but like, I need to know where my limits are right now in ways that I want to stretch this conversation. I only figured it out after my boyfriends asked me out, lol. I'm actually really chill about that. Also, being neurodivergent affects how you perceive friendships and romance. Yes! I have the autistic thingy of like, okay, there's like a lot of things that like inform it. Like sometimes I think about BPD, though I've been trying to think of it in a more positive way because a lot of people with BPD, there's a commonality in a lot of people with BPD to be like pansexual and non-monogamous. And some people see that as like in the same way that bi people are seen as like greedy, of just like, oh, you're just trying to get as much love and amory as possible so you can feel good about yourself. And it's like, you're not necessarily wrong, but you're also, word of the day, or idea of the day, narrowing the possible reasons why someone would be akin to that and why someone would like that. It's not just, I'm extra lonely, so I need to fill my life with as many people who love me and will kiss me and tell me nice things as possible. Radical thought? That's not necessarily a bad goal. There's a healthy way to technically go about it. I think there's a word for it. It's like seeking pleasure and good things. And it's a lot of people see it as like, oh, like it's all about in the moment and like being a pleasure whore. And it's like, not necessarily. Cultivating good relationships with as many people as possible and trying to share as much love as you can. That's a noble goal, I would say. And so like having a brain that works different is just kind of funny to me. Because I always think about like how I gotta make my brain like work with other people's weird brains, but everyone's brain is weird. At least in the spaces that I love to be in. Trans people shouldn't have to suppress themselves for other trans people to feel seen. Like in my opinion, they just need to get over themselves and work towards building their own community. I don't care. Gosh, it's gonna take a while for me to like fully be like there with you, Hano, because like I still feel a little bit like, am I really allowed to be so proud of who I am? Like, gosh, I'm still working on it, but I am definitely with you. I always wish I could be a Girl Scout. Girl Scouts have more fun, and then also cookies. Assimilating, like passing? Passing is sort of okay, so assimilating can include passing, but it's not just simply passing. And there's a lot of reasons that people might want to pass. Going stealth is more akin to assimilation, but it doesn't have to stop there. There are out queer people, not just like trans, that they're about assimilation. From ace people to arrow people to like monogamous gay men. Monogamous cis gay men even. Like there are plenty of people who try to reflect like the expected mainstream values, the cishet normative stuff. Like the thing that comes to mind for me is the type of queer who, after gay rights was a thing, sorry, gay rights, that's so vague, marriage equality. After they were able to get married for wherever they are in the world, they didn't care about queer liberation anymore, or at least they were like, okay, I'm done with the need to fight. I am satisfied. The people who were just like, well, I don't have a lot of skin in the game anymore, so goodbye. That sort of thing. But I mean, it doesn't always have to be so mean-spirited. It can just be, I will be happy if no one knows I am queer, or I look as much like a cishet person as possible while being queer. I think the first type of overtly queer paradigm that I identified with while still thinking of myself as a cishet person at the time, definitely not now, almost like 8 years ago, more than that, 10 years ago maybe, not quite 10 years ago, was literally someone being like, oh, I'm gay, but I'm not flamboyant. And it's like, oh, I'm gay and not flamboyant too. I didn't realize I could be gay and not like being a diva or something, and being a metropolitan cis girl's prop or something. And like that kind of opened the door for me to be like, oh, there's a lot of different ways a queer can look like. But I think that that's exactly the problem with like the assimilation mindset, because it's just like it's like this list of being like, why you gotta make me feel weird for not being as weird as you? Why do you have to be so visible? Why do you have to call so much attention to yourself? Why can't you be a nice etz like me and just chill? And some people don't think of it in the front of their mind like, oh, I want to appease cis people, or I want to appease cishet people. Some people are just like, why do you have to be so like proud of yourself? Like maybe like tone it down a little, because you seem conceited because of like all that loving yourself you're doing. And my brain is infected now because it's hard for me to actually say the position in good faith anymore, just because it feels so obviously not something that serves trans people well as a community in general. It's really hard for me to my brain has changed. It won't go back to normal now, which is good. The world can't be a perfect place because humans aren't perfect. I don't think anything's perfect. Even humans. Even like, I don't know, celestial bodies. I always get afraid of trying to actually be myself and the judgment that brings. Mood. I'm really there with you, Lyko. Lyoko? I'm still struggling with that, and there's still things I want to be more open with. But I'm getting there. 8% of my friends could ask me out to become romantic partners. I'd be 100% down. Oh my god, that's so that's so lit. Honestly, I think being a public figure has definitely affected like how much I am open to like dating people, because I'm definitely like a lot more careful than I used to be for a lot of reasons. And I also don't feel like I can expand right now as easily as I would want to, and give people all the time and energy and stuff that I would want. But I'm definitely like, I don't know, romantic relationships certainly aren't easy, but I find myself really comfortable in like being really close to other people and trying to learn about them, and like the things that encourage getting closer to people that can naturally like do things that have to do with like romance and stuff like that. Me and my partner are just good bros with New Game Plus. Oh gosh, that's so good. New Game Plus in a relationship, that's lovely. You're working on it, and that's what matters. I'm proud of you. Oh, thank you. I think a lot of people are afraid to look different, including me for that matter. I'm constantly terrified of anyone judging me. Not this healthy outlook or state to be. I totally get what you mean, Lyoko. I worry about it all the time, and it's really hard to let down your guard and be ambiguously you. Thoroughly used up. Sorry. I mean, not sorry at all, because I'm living my best life. Okay, it's still a little bit blushy-wushy. And that's not gonna change. I will change, but not right now. But I'm almost getting to my limit with these. Gosh, I'm so well hydrated. Metropolitan cis girls prop. Obsessed with that wording. I'm thinking like the gay friend in Sets in the City or something. Like, immediately is what my brain went to. Cause like, was it like Big Gay Al and stuff? Like the 90s and early 2000s, the range for like, unless you knew what to look for, the range for like what a queer person was in media was just so fucking narrow. Like, so fucking narrow. I think people collectively need to stop giving a shit about what other people do with their self-expression, or at least start working towards that. Well, that will solve many issues. At a general level, I think that that's very much something I can agree with, not just in the sense of like just the trans community. I mean, I don't want to go as far as be like that will solve all bigotry forever. It's like it's not that simple, but things will be a whole lot easier for a lot of people, and a lot of people also feel free enough to like experiment themselves and like feel good doing doing stuff. The flip side of this entire argument, the very little bit of it that I will entertain because someone did bring up a good point to me, of like it being an important thing to try to make folks feel that they don't have to be all the things that you see in memes that people bond over to be valid. You know, like not making people feel like they can't have friends in the community because they don't have these things in common. Shit. Perfect thing. Playing a Lalafell in Final Fantasy 14. That could go on this fucking thingy. You could have it two separate ones. Playing Final Fantasy 14, which I still cannot do, even though I want to, and playing a Lalafell in Final Fantasy 14, which at some point I probably will do. But I honestly, trying to be a good queer or a good trans girl, went out of my way to not play a Lalafell. I went out of my way to not play a Lalafell because too many trans girls do that. And other reasons I won't get into today. And it's just like, nah. If you want to, that's cool, do it. If you don't do it. Chill. And like there's so much self-policing in that way. And that like that lack of experimentation and repression I was talking about. Damn. Imagine coming out as trans and still being hella repressed. Painful. But I understand. I've been there too. I agree with that, Hano, but at the same time, I feel like the innate fear of disappointment is so baked into our brains, I have no idea how to start to get around that. Try to find communities that accept you for being those things, or that hold those values. I hate to be like this community, but like, this whole episode has literally been about that, basically. People who give you permission to be yourself by being themselves will actually make you feel like it's not the end of the world if you don't exactly fit in. Feeling safe enough to make a fool of yourself a little bit, feeling safe enough that like you know it won't be held against you for doing something you maybe even never imagined yourself doing, I think is a big part of that. Even thinking about just like queer identity in and of itself, going back to that thing of being like, I don't think I could be trans if there weren't other trans people. Like the community existing and letting you know that it exists and that it's an option that you can do, but also being a place that you can feel comfortable and be like, hey, these are my people. And I think even someone on the stream in chat was like, just being trans is not enough for me to connect with someone and be like, yeah, like, just someone being trans isn't gonna necessarily make them your people. There are plenty of trans people, and I know that, like, thinking about it in the parasocial way isn't always helpful, but thinking about a lot of popular trans people, there's plenty of trans people that, like, even have similar politics to me who definitely are not on my wavelength, and that's okay. And queer people in general too. It's a slow process, accepting things and trying to broaden your horizons and be flexible. Just as long as you're trying, you know? Live your best life. Not my gender, not my problem. What I wish trans folks would do, lol. LMAO. Like, why do you care? Real. People are so innately afraid of change that anything that affects the world they live in instantly makes them terrified of their rights being violated. Honestly, people in privilege especially, I would say. And I mean, that's also part of like the thing that happens with culture and stuff. And like being outside of like the mainstream culture and what's like radically accepted. Because if you are like in the middle, you're gonna feel a lot weirder about losing any amount of privilege or perceived privilege. And it's gonna be like, oh no, I am worse off now. Oh no, I am lower on the totem pole. Oh no, I'm not as valuable anymore. And that's real. And that sucks. And that is part of the thing, because having a caste system is a good way to keep injustice intact. Because the more people are afraid of losing what little privilege they have, the less people are going to fight to radically change things. I play a Lalafell and I am unapologetic. You go, Lyoko. Damn, that rolls off the tongue really well. I will get you on that game if it's the last thing I do. It's a goal for next year. It's certainly a goal for next year. Promise. I literally got the Final Fantasy XIV ADBL resources and community introduction ready for you. Hano, you don't understand how happy that makes me. I've done some research about stuff, and I'm just, I have to, okay, I'm gonna explain. Even though I shouldn't have to fully explain myself, I just want to. I have, okay, in terms of the assimilation thing, or trying not to be like the cringiest version of whatever thing you know people aren't the same as you in being ADBL or being a baby fur, especially. Honestly, that's like one of the most things, or things related to it, or anything that's like part of me that's like particularly taboo, even in like, even in a like not fully vanilla, but not like super weirdo kind of queer community. I always feel like, oh shit, I have some friends that aren't babs. Shit, I gotta keep them. I gotta not be cringy. And you have been here. I have pissed myself like several times, and you have never given me any vibes that have been like, I disagree with your life choices. I don't know how you feel about it. And a lot of times I have thought about my friends that are not babs and how they think of me, because I'm so scared that I'm going to offend them with me being unapologetically myself and scare them away. And that is so unfortunate, and it's one of those things I'm trying to unlearn, because I'm used to being the model whatever weird group I'm in. And like, you thinking about like how to make me feel more welcome in something that you feel excited about, even if you don't share that same sort of excitement, makes me feel really valued and good friends. Yes. I want to cry. I need to drink more water so I can cry. My main is a cat boy, but I have a Lala. Nice. I honestly want to get comfortable in a species that wasn't a Lalafell, so that when I got a Lalafell, that I wouldn't feel like, and the same thing we've been talking about, like, oh, I'm just this cookie cutter trans person, I have a Lalafell, oh no. You know, it was self-hate. It was self-hate and self-policing, honestly. I also play a Lalafell. I'm a dorky little critter. I still need to play more. You do. There are some very cute mods for Lalas in Final Fantasy XIV for littles. Littles, well, there's mods for most races, but Lalas get the most love in terms of that sort of stuff. God, I actually been falling in love with passies all over again, like in my actual mouth. It's been really good. I've been loving myself a bit more. I feel that I always feel so worried about how people view me and judge me, especially when it comes to ADBL stuff. Oh fuck yeah! I remember when I first when my system was first like, okay, we're gonna fully do the streaming thing and like content creation and stuff, and we're gonna be upfront about being bad, being ADBL, being a little, and it's going to intersect with all our other intersectionalisms. And we can be like, you know, that was kind of like our grounding principle of being like, I'm more than just a little, but being a little informs a lot of my life and affects the way I look at lots of things, including gaming and politics and all this other stuff. And that's fine and cool and awesome. Actually, our first video on our channel is like, what was it? A baby fur made a YouTube channel? Yikes, question mark? Kind of playing on the idea of like, oh no, another cringy person. And we have always had the goal of ourselves to do like a new version of that every year where we revisit that idea. And like, just a reminder and also keeping it visible on our channel that we never want to hide that part of ourselves. Because one of the parts of ourselves that we felt the most pressure to hide up. Hello! There is a raid now. Scooter Shy, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream?
Present day.
Oh, I got a few follows here. Thank you so much. Holy hecky. Gosh, how do I start? Hi Raiders, I am Drizzle of the Fluffbite Entertainment System. I am part of a plural system of otherkin, furry, little, leftist, queer as fuck, indie game loving rascals. There's like about 8-ish different VTubers that use this account, and we all share a body, and we all have different personas, and we really love voice acting so we can sound different and really be extra individuals. If you don't know about plurality and multiplicity, then there is in our about section there is a link to a more thorough explanation. But it's just having different self-aware entities, more than one, in a single body. Very good, very good. Let me shout you out. So this is we try to have this as safe a space as we can make it for all the weird little critters. My Hero Ultra Rumble. Damn, I have not played that, but I certainly love My Hero Academia. And I definitely like fighting games too. I've been thinking about playing a game like that, but I think I want to go back to was it Naruto and Ultimate Ninja before I branch out into all the other I guess not necessarily obscure, but like less paid attention to anime fighters. Super fun. Oh gosh, I definitely gotta try it sometime. Oh, sorry. I guess we don't have a command on it. There's a picture of like Asuka and Rei in our about section. And if you click on that, that sends you to the fucking plural thing. Today's stream is about radical self-acceptance, especially in queer and trans spaces, what makes a safe space, and how people feel about how they fit into the overall online trans space. And we've been talking about this post that's behind me forever. Though I was just about to wrap it up, but we're just being like, yes, you can be cringy. And it's like, yeah. And we don't have to try to assimilate or be a model minority or model. Well, I guess technically being a little or a baby fur or whatever would be a minority, but like not in the same way of like the fact that I'm like black, for example. But it's still. Hi, fellow furry ADBL here also. Oh, well, that was a nice test run. It was like, oh shit, someone rated me. Okay. Don't be weird about the fact that I piss myself constantly. And it's like, oh, that's okay. It's okay either way. But also it's just like, I don't have to be like, oh no, maybe this person feels weird because they just rated me and didn't realize that. And it's like, I have tags. I think I have the baby fur and ADBL tag up right now. So like, people have been warned. There's other places you can be. But yeah, that's the theme of this stream right now. Screw cringe culture. Do what makes you happy. Yeah. I'm just a mute duck. Gotcha. Ducks are awesome. Whoa, your son looks so cute. Okay, I gotta check out your stream sometime. Nice. My wife said baby fur was brought up, so I'm paying attention now. Vibes. Yeah, this is a safe space for baby furs. Yeah. We're age play streamers, sort of. Age play is starting to become a really stuffy word because like we don't play at age. We are very a lot of things. I don't want to just be listening to a bunch of stuff, but at the same time it's just like I'm certainly a type of little. This isn't just something I'm like following a script for now. It's like it's part of my life. It's part of a subculture and part of a community that I feel value in, and it's certainly not just about like the kink aspect of, oh, this is hot or whatever. I mean, also we're A-spec, but we're like a very sex positive A-spec. So there is also that part. I think in terms of the radical self-acceptance and like being able to be cringe and accepting that thing, I was falling into and I'm still getting used to just being like unabashedly, yes, piss your pants maybe. Though we've been working on it. We've been streaming for almost, maybe almost 5 years? I can't remember now. Is it odd to be a little and a furry, but not a baby fur? Baby fur is a very particular, like, community label, technically. I don't think that it's necessarily weird. I know a lot of people like to, like, have some separation. Like, someone can like ADBL stuff and be in the ADBL community and be a furry, but not want their fursona or like the furry spaces that they're in to also be ADBL. If that makes sense. It certainly isn't unheard of. I don't know a lot of people who do it though. I'm much more used to someone being an ADBL but not a furry than being a ADBL or a little and a furry but not a baby fur. Weirdly. And believe it or not, I was a little before I was a furry. And then I was a baby fur. It was like 1, 2, 3. That's me. Gosh. Wow, I guess that's the end of this section of like talking about that whole discourse. It only took 3 hours and 40 minutes. The real journey, the real friends were the ones we pissed along the way. Oh right, my pronouns are she, they, it, and they. There's a lot of those. Love me some pronouns.